everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that, when one host has a request to move the date and time of the recording schedule, the other one begrudgingly agrees and then stays up for 24 hours and about to be changed. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, the requester, and as always is a guy that's dressed like a mass murderer, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how you doing?
Oh. I said yes before I knew.
We knew that this would be a thing. We knew.
Well, no.
Oh, that you're right. No, you're right. We said it. You said yes, and then a couple days later, you're like, "Oh shit!" Start of the day.
I said yes, no questions asked. Being the good co-host that I am,
great co-host, I'll say.
And I turn around to get slapped in the face that there's a star on pay-per-view today, and we were starting an hour earlier than we would usually anyways, and a whole day earlier. But I'm here. I'm not okay. But I will give you an entire podcast that will probably go over 2 hours. And because why? Because I'm a fucking psychopath. And of course today's like the most stacked episode I think we've had in months. So this is great.
Yeah, no, I greatly appreciate it, Scotty. You have never been more of a trooper than to deal with my needs and my desires and wants. So
someday I'll have a request.
Someday you'll have. You haven't had many requests before. You only requested. I don't think you actually requested anything. Yeah, maybe one time. I think you've requested stuff. You're the typical person that requests OJ. Ring Post Radio nights. That's typically your thing when you had work in the morning.
See, this is Ring Post Radio.
Early morning,
way too early.
Early morning is
no pulp.
Oh. Do you like pulp at all? Because I hate it.
Absolutely not.
Get it out of here.
Listen. Let's talk about this.
Again, stack show.
Anyone that drinks orange juice with pulp, I can't trust you.
Totally agree.
I don't get it. Doesn't make sense. But stack show, so I'm going to shut up about orange juice and pulp.
Speaking of orange juice, Orange Cassidy. Just getting right into it. We got a big old show today. Episode 86, Ring Post Radio. Squeaky chair.
Big whole show today.
Big whole show. Big gaping hole show. Too early for that joke. Caught Scotty off guard.
You can't see my eyes, but my eyes are stuck.
Big old show. Obviously, we're going to be talking AEW Revolution happening tomorrow night. That's exciting.
We'll be reviewing that one, baby. Right after the show, baby. Will we get another brawl out, baby? Probably not.
Do you think we'll get another great press conference with Tony Khan?
Yeah, because CM Punk's probably coming back.
Yeah, baby. AEW All Access, baby. Did you see that trailer for AEW All Access?
I watched like a second of it, and then I forgot why I didn't finish it. But I said, hey, Adam Cole's coming back that day.
The ending part of the trailer is like Nick Jackson being like, I didn't sign up for all this backstage politicking crap. I just want to wrestle. And I was like, huh? Wait a second.
He did actually sign up for that. He literally was an EVP. He literally signed up for that.
Exactly.
But that's fine.
But it's fine. But everyone right now, there's like chatter online of like, there's no way. There's no way this whole thing is a work. There's no way. There's no way this whole thing was just for AEW All Access.
That'd be the greatest work of all time.
I would be fucking stunned. Because like in the episode, they also like, talk about like Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston's backstage fight. Like in the trailer.
God, that's all it worked. They said we have the show coming out. We're gonna make it the most watched wrestling reality show since Total Divas. Congratulations.
I mean, that trailer alone got me as a viewer. I'm like, wait, hold on. Now I gotta watch this shit. But anyways, we got a big old show. AEW Revolution. No pulp. AEW Revolution. New Japan Cup bracket / anniversary event. Anniversary event is really... Well, I mean, there's parts of the New Japan Cup are on that anniversary event, but also one show, one match, which I know Scotty is amped for. But of course, we'll do our New Japan Cup bracket predictions. Scotty's going to pick Ibushi all the way. We're going to talk Ring of Honor episode 1. We're going to talk Fantasticamania tour, which I thought was just a fantastic Mania tour. The All-Star Junior Festival, and the Stardom Triangle Derby finals, along with some news items.
Did we miss anything?
I don't think we did.
That's good.
And my goal today is to push all that through and get all of our.
We will
topics
talk
in.
about everything. I'm here until we're done.
Yeah, Scotty is here, and then as soon as the camera goes off, he immediately falls asleep. It'd be a light switch.
I wish.
I'm at the point in my life now where I can't fall asleep like a light switch. It's literally like it takes me like an hour to go to sleep. It's real
I've
bad.
never been at a point in my life where it doesn't take me at least an hour to fall asleep. So I'm happy for you that you were at a point where a light switch happened.
I feel like in college I was like famously called like a vampire when I sleep, and I still do it today, but less so. But when I'm in college, my roommate would always describe me as a vampire because I would essentially sleep in bed on my back like this.
Interesting.
I would sleep like this, and then like I'm one of those people that like the alarm goes off, I get up immediately. So alarm goes off, I wake up. And it just terrifies my roommate.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I had alarms set to wake up for this.
Mm-hmm.
I never fell asleep.
I was about to say, I was like, hold on.
but let me tell you, the alarm scared the shit out of me this morning, nonetheless.
You forgot about
a little bit.
Well, let's get to the show. No pulp. Let's get to the show. No more pulp. Get the pulp out of here. Get the pope out of here.
Get the pope. Get the pope. Get the. That's it. I'm just gonna let you talk.
That's what when we say RPR, that's actually what we mean. It's Ring Pulp Radio, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the pulp out of here. We're gonna be only talking Ring Radio. Here we go. Here we go. No pulp. Let's talk about some of the news bits for Ring Post Radio starting here. I got 3 topics, Scotty, and we'll do a little roulette wheel of where do you want to talk with. So we have MLW sucks butt, we got Endeavor is out, and Vince is back in creative. What do you want?
Oh, they're all just so interesting to me. Let's talk MLW first.
And the MLW, the world never stops. MLW, the most pulp promotion I ever know. Just a lot of faff of that interaction. So MLW, obviously they have been on the Reels network kind of out of nowhere. And I remember when it happened, you and I talked about it. It's like, this just feels out of nowhere. And then they're like on the show and they're still talking about how it's fusion. So it felt even more out of nowhere. Well, it was announced that Reels signed a deal with Peacock to be able to stream, get their product and get their television stuff on to the Peacock network, which is, a huge deal for Reels. That's a good thing. The problem there being that, according to the report, saying that because of Peacock's deal with WWE having exclusive rights to air wrestling onto Peacock, MLW will not be shifting over to Reels. So that was like, okay, that's fine. That sucks for MLW. And then there's another line in there that says that, and MLW, they're only on for 10 weeks anyway. So after 10 weeks, in April 24th, I believe it was, after 10 weeks, they'll be off of Reels. And then that hour slot can just go to whoever else, whatever else product that Reels puts on there. So this created this whole thing of, wait a second, MLW's got you again, folks. MLW on Reels out of nowhere with stuff that's airing, still saying they're MLW Fusion. Now Reels is going to Peacock, but MLW cannot go with them. Almost like because of WWE's exclusivity to Peacock, is MLW not able to get good market share because of WWE? That's an interesting thing to maybe add to an amended lawsuit you're in the process of making. Scotty, what do you think about all this MLW drama? And why do they suck butt?
I don't know why it matters. I thought MLW was pro wrestling, and and WWE is sports entertainment.
Great, that's a great distinction, and I agree.
I would literally put that in the lawsuit.
This is
Like,
you as
I'd be like-
WWE's lawyer.
I bet like they literally say they're sports entertainment. They don't know what pro wrestling is. MLW does suck butt. Like that. This is a promotion that stinks. Like it's bad. It's not. It's bad. The fact that they got on Reels to begin with still stuns me to this day. The fact that we were having some weeks there where people were comparing that and Impact. What? And they were beating Impact once in a while, or I don't know. I think it's only been like 3 weeks now. This is like it's shocking they got 10 weeks to begin with. Truthfully, like what has MLW done in the past year to make them earn a spot on Reels? Besides fail on the other channel, Vice. They failed on
announced it as
Vice,
a TV thing. It was just a one-off TV special.
which failed terribly.
Yeah, I don't recall it drawing. I mean, even then, like this Reels channel is like Reels has like way more of a TV audience, than Impact could ever have in terms of just like in households that carry Reels versus Axis. And so you would have to imagine, MLW would have like way bigger numbers than Impact. And they're like fighting to be on the same pace. Like Impact beats MLW some weeks. MLW beats Impact some weeks. Like they're like on pace. It shouldn't be on pace. MLW should be way higher for what network they're on. Yeah, I don't understand, and I think that's part of it is that let's go back to conversations where we had last week. That what if this whole MLW thing was just a time buy, where MLW just was like, hey, Reels, can we air on your network? Here's a bunch of money. And they were like, yeah, sure. But they're like, oh, we only have enough money for 10 weeks. And like, yeah, that's fine. And then gave you 10 weeks. Like and I wonder if like maybe MLW Court Bauer knew about this Peacock deal coming together, and maybe they're using. The reason I brought up that thing is like, what if like the tinfoil hat guy over here is like, what if this is all part of the 4D chess game of, we're suing WWE over the monopolizing the industry, and here's another instance, that we cannot have our product go out and be a bigger thing, and we're going to get off of Reels because of Peacock, because of WWE. The timing of it all is very, very interesting and feels very scummy, and it feels right up MLW's alley, right up Court Bauer's alley.
Let me talk to you. It's just, to me, I look at MLW and it's just stunning that they're the biggest pain in the ass to WWE these days. They're the biggest pain in the ass. Not AEW, not, I don't know, Vince's lawsuits. It's MLW. What? I mean, if this is a big whole grand plan to help them in this suit, congratulations to them. Way to think ahead. That's like 7D chess that I could never play. I don't even know what that means. MLW gets more conversation for all these TV deals that they get and the WWE lawsuits, and yet no one still gives a shit to watch them. I think that tells you all you need to know about that product.
I agree. Well,
except for you, maybe. I know you watched them once upon a time.
I mean, I watched the latest episode. I gotta
Billy Starks was out there. Shout out to Billy Starks.
I gotta watch that John Hennigan title win. I gotta go out there and watch it.
John Hennigan won a title?
He beat Davey Richards for the MLW national title.
What in the world?
MLW, baby. MLW.
We have so much to talk about. You have me talking about MLW. What are you doing?
I gave you the option. You picked MLW first.
Do we have to talk about them all?
Fair enough. Endeavor is out or Vince is back in creative. What would you like to watch? What do you like to talk about?
They all come together. These two just come together.
That's
so just start with Endeavor, and we'll get into Vinnie Mac over here.
So Endeavor, so bright. Endeavor, one of the many companies that were in talks of purchasing WWE. The Endeavor CEO comments on that possibility with the quote, "As it relates to WWE, it's an unbelievable product." This is obviously coming from the CEO, Ari Emanuel. Vince, created a great business. We've had a long-standing relationship with them over 2 decades. We're doing on-location business with them, streaming business with them. His business is really valuable, but we're not going to do anything as it relates to changing our leverage position right now. And that probably also comes into the fact that, recently the quote unquote price, I guess, that Vince is asking for, WWE is asking for, was 9 billion. That's a little out of Endeavor's price range. And hearing this after the fact is not a good thing, I would say, for old WWE. So it looks like Endeavor is going to be out of the sale. We've heard before that like Comcast and a lot of those like networks are not really interested. I don't see Disney or Netflix or any streamers like that being like a big possibility at this point. So to me, we're looking at Tony Khan, which he already will need some other buyer to do that, or someone who has a lot more money and could probably do it, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So, Scotty,
Ooh.
as we ear closer and closer to the potential sale, and I guess you should say there is the third option of the price was rated so high at 9 billion, specifically so no one buys this company, and that Vince McMahon just forced himself back into the company on the idea of, oh, I'm just here to help facilitate the sale, and then purposely set the price $3 billion higher, losing potential buyers, and is now either facing selling the company to Saudi Arabia or not selling at all, which means, oh, I'm back in the company, and guess what? I'm already started being part of the creative. But that's a whole nother story. But let's just talk about whether or not how the sale is going. What do you think? If you were a WWE board member, if you were a stock shareholder, and you were hearing like, oh, we're gonna sell this company, and you keep hearing all these companies being like, yeah, I'm not interested, and like everyone not just like super cold feet on it, and no one really being interested, and maybe it's going to happen, maybe it's not. But what do you think about Endeavor being out of this WWE sale?
They deserve everything that's coming to them. They're the ones that voted Vincent K. McMahon back into the board to begin with. So at the end of the day, or someone did. I know someone did. The board, you know what I mean. Stakeholders, maybe not, but you know what? The board voted him back in. So you have them to blame. That's your board that you selected. You have them to blame for pretty much just giving in to the old man coming back. Um, I think the inevitable, since the very beginning, is eventually going to hit us, and that's sweet, sweet Saudi money taking over WWE, which is disgusting and sad and awful, but here we are, and unless the price goes down.
Yeah.
Which, is always possible. I doubt it because this is Vincent McMahon, but it's always possible. I think the most likely story is he put it that high just so that he could get back in and not sell. I think that's the most likely story.
Yeah.
Just because that couldn't be more Vince McMahon if he tried to be.
I think it was something like Kevin Nash said that was like, Kevin Nash believes that it's that high because it's one of the situations of like, oh, I'm not going to sell my house, but if someone came to my house and was like, here's $3 billion, I'm selling my house.
Yeah,
like it's like,
exactly.
oh, I don't actually want to sell the company, but if I got $9 billion for it, then sure, I'll do that. Who cares?
Exactly. Yeah, so I think that's really the case here. I think he wanted to get back in. He said, "This is why I'm here."
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, as time goes on, he can figure out how to make it his own and kind of make his way back into all the things that he was kicked out of to begin with. And he's doing a really good job at doing that. Endeavor, They probably shouldn't buy WWE. You don't need two spokesperson for those companies that are problems. You already have Dana White. I think that's enough to deal with.
That's probably true. They got their own fingers in other pies that they have to deal with.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I didn't
Real
see.
slap in the face.
I don't know if that
A-
was on purpose, but I couldn't believe it was.
It absolutely was on purpose. It's about power slap, not the actual slap in the face that Dana White hit on his wife.
Jesus,
Everyone.
Jesus. Yeah, no.
That,
Endeavor. Once you hear like
Dana White, piece of shit. There
once
you
you
go.
hear like WWE's asking price of $9 billion, and I'm sure like by the way, like asking price, I'm sure that like there's room for negotiation or whatever. But like as soon as you hear that one and how much like Endeavor has, it's like yeah, Endeavor's not going to do that. Like I'm sure Endeavor would like. I'm sure by the way, like if WWE was worth, it is worth 6 billion. Right? Endeavor has 10. I'm sure Endeavor could look at that and be like, we might be able to make that work. But as
Yeah.
soon as Vince is like, no, I want 9, it's like, oh, no, we can't do that at all. As
Yeah, I
soon as
mean,
that price went up, like I could see them. It's not great. That's a little more than half of your, how much your company's Endeavor is worth and how much they have. But like, you could make that work. The company's making money hand over fist. You could make that work. But yeah, they can't sell all of their money for this.
it's the situation of aim high, and as time goes on, you bring it down.
Yeah.
Aim for the highest. See if anyone's worth gonna give that to you.
Mhm.
And then if you're really serious about selling, you start to go down a little bit. But you try to get the most possible at the end of the day. I've watched Shark Tank. I know how this works.
He's a
Come on.
Shark Tank expert. He's a Shark Tank.
Exactly. You come in with this ridiculous price, and then the shark hits you with this one that's like a slap in the face, and then you meet in the middle, and it works all great. So they'll meet at 7 million.
Well,
Who's they?
who
We don't
knows?
want to know.
Don't want to know. Well, speaking of Vince McMahon, if like I said, it's either Saudi Arabia or bust. Let's talk about the bust, and that is, back in the company, back in creative. And yeah, there are conflicting reports about this whole thing. It's it was a report that came out from WrestleVotes, the Twitter account, saying that it was Vince McMahon who was the one that pushed for Brock Lesnar versus Omos to happen.
Technically,
Yeah.
WrestleVotes never said it.
Correct, which is the classic WrestleVotes.
Simply was a gif.
The classic WrestleVotes get out of it move.
Yeah.
But it's believed that Brock and Omos was pushed out by Vince. It was requested by Vince, which, on paper, you look at this match graphic and you're like, oh, yeah, I can see why Vince wants this match. Undoubtedly, I can see why Vince wants this match. However, there was a recent report that Fightful noted how word from within WWE said that McMahon did not come up with Lesnar and Omos. They said there was strong internal speculation whether or not McMahon was back working with the WWE creative team. While Fightful had sources who spoke to both sides of the narrative, Wade Keller, PW Torch's Wade Keller, said he was flat out told that Vince McMahon is not backing creative. There were other reports saying that Lesnar's WrestleMania match has changed several times. It was Gunther was a strong contender, and then at a certain point it changed to Omos. Now we also know that Triple H talks to Vince. Triple H has said this in press conferences that he talks to Vince about creative. So I would argue that whether or not Vince is truly backing creative is one thing. Holding the actual pen, booking up week-to-week television is one thing. The other aspect is I could see Triple H going to Vince and be like, we're going to do Gunther and Brock, and Vince being like, no, don't do that. Do Brock and Omos. And Triple H is like, but I think this would be a good match. And he's like, have you seen Omos? And he's like, yeah, I have seen Omos. And then Vince is like, all right, then why are we not doing Omos versus Brock? That's got to be the match. It'd be the biggest match in WrestleMania history. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do that, father-in-law. So yeah, I think, and then, there's obviously the discussion of that Vince McMahon's, Triple H's television has a lot of Vince McMahonisms all over the place. But I don't know. I feel like this is a classic, and I've read this book countless times when I was growing up, countless times of if you give a mouse a cookie. I feel like we have been on that path. He's got himself back into the kitchen. the bakery. He's got himself back in the bakery, and now giving him potentially, let's say Triple H gave him like, all right, Vince, you can have this one. I think this is give a mouse a cookie situation where we are hurtling to not maybe not hurtling, not that fit fast that quickly, but it feels like to me that we are heading that direction. Vince is going to be back in creative. If he is at least, whether or not he purposely put that match together, who knows, but I feel like this is he pushed it. He's not doesn't have the book, but he's pushing for this match. It just, I don't know. That's how I feel about it, and I think it's totally possible. I think it's totally possible and not unlikely. We know it's possible. And so I think it's a give Mouse a cookie. We're going to get down the line. How do you feel about Lenzer Omos, potential of Vince back in creative?
So I have my own theory of how this went.
Okay.
Starting with Gunther. I think they came to a realization that, you know what, maybe he's actually a guy that we should just go keep that belt on, because he was going to have to drop the belt before if he was facing Brock, because it was never going to be a title match. And maybe that's the reason they pivoted from that one rather than the Omos thing, because it then went to Bray Wyatt. It went originally from Omos or from Gunther to
Yeah.
Omos, I think it would have been purely Vince, like saying, no, Gunther, we're going to Omos.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they saw something with Gunther and said, okay, we are going to keep down this path with him as champion, because he's not that far off from breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record either. He's been a dominant champion. We're going to keep him in that role. We want him to be this monster guy. And if he faces Brock, he's probably going to lose. Next up's Bray Wyatt. Brock says, fuck no. Why the hell would I do that? I'm not touching an Uncle Howdy. I have had enough Uncle Howdies in my life. I'm not doing Uncle Howdies. Bray Wyatt's bad. I said no the first time 5 years ago. I'm saying no now. And then I think the part comes in personally, where Vince McMahon has Brock Lesnar's phone. You know it. And Vince may have said, like, hey, Triple H, you're looking for an opponent for Brock. Why not Omos? And then, Vince is like, oh, yeah, you're going to make money with this guy because he's fucking huge and you can F5 him and it's going to be great. And Brock's probably like, yeah, sure, whatever. Because, Brock doesn't give a crap. We can act like Brock cares. He doesn't care that much. Yeah. He probably just cares about not facing Bray Wyatt. So I think it was probably a natural change along the way regarding Mr. McMahon's involvement. I do think that got their match was probably considered, and then they had their realizations, and then Triple H was like, okay, where do I go next? And then he looked at Bray, and for some reason he said, oh yeah, him and Brock would be good, and then he ran out of options after that. So he was like, Vince, I need help. And Brock I'm sure Brock and Vince talked to make that happen.
I'm sure they talk all the time.
Yeah. We know Brock walked out the moment Vince got moved then he walked back in, but he did walk out. So that was, serious enough. But yeah, Vince is definitely has say. That's goes without saying. We know that. Triple H confirmed that.
Yeah.
And if I look at the WrestleMania card, this one definitely has Vince's fingers on it. I think Austin Theory and Cena has Vince's fingers on it. I know it's not on the card yet, but it's going to be.
Sure.
But then there's matches like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, which I think is clearly Triple H. And there's Bianca and Asuka, which is clearly Triple H. And, Cody and Roman, it could be both, I think that was a natural story that they were going to go with no matter what.
That was original. You could argue that was originally Vince.
Exactly.
Vince, because that was the idea plan to begin with.
Right. And it was, again, I think it's the right plan. I know Sami Zayn, blah, 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 whatever. That's gone. That's over. We don't talk about that anymore.
That's dead.
Yeah, that's couldn't be more dead in the water. Like Seth and Logan Paul. I don't know.
I think the bigger
Probably Triple H.
I think the bigger problem you're sort of alluding to is that like Triple H's booking is not distinct enough of a
Yes.
difference between his booking style and WWE. You know, you could see a difference between WWE and NXT, but when Vince is gone and Triple H has the book for main roster stuff, it's like it is
Yeah.
really hard to tell a difference between the two.
Yeah, because
There
he's
are minute differences that like if you look for it, you can see them, but it is not grandstanding
yeah.
noticeable stuff.
Yeah. I'll tell you, weekly television is completely different. It's a usual, well, at least SmackDown. Most of the time, if you watch a show, there are more segments that are watchable than there used to be. But that doesn't have me sitting here thinking and saying it's a great product.
Yeah.
It's just a better product from the dog shit that it was prior. So congratulations.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's also the thing. And I also understand Triple H is trying to book for that audience
Yeah.
and the hardcore audience in some ways. You see it on NXT nowadays. I watched part of NXT this week, and I got Tyler Bate and Carmelo Hayes, but then you're also getting Hank Walker, whoever the hell that is, and Brooks Jensen, and I can't even name these people. I can't even sit here and lie and act like I know these people. But it's like that type of thing, or like with the Wesley Open Challengers. Wesley faced Nathan Frazier this week. 2 weeks ago was Von Wagner. So it's like he's trying to play both sides here,
Yeah.
and it just leads to his product being like, well, there's still a lot of Vinceisms,
Yeah.
and that's not good.
Yeah, which the Dave Meltzer quote of all of it is, well, if they're still making money, then it must be working. It must
Yep,
be there must be something's right. So maybe I
record
shouldn't complain about
money.
it. Yeah, record money. Thank you.
Every time they go to a city, they're making record money at this point.
It is insane. It is insane. Well, here's the events in our wild speculation. I really feel like I don't think he's like there all the way, but knowing that like he and Triple H are talking about it,
Yeah,
and that is a quote from Triple H. It's just like, oh, then how do I know? How do we know how much Vince says or Triple H says yes to?
yeah.
When he pitches stuff.
Here's the thing: he's not in the building, but he's in the conversation.
Yes, he's not in the building, but he's on the conference call. That is 100% the
Yeah,
booking strategy right now.
yeah.
And that sucks. Anyways, let's talk about something that's good. That has
A lot of good this
a
week.
lot of good this week. And this actually was a really good week in wrestling, by the way. I thought this week in wrestling was fantastic.
It's been a long week in wrestling.
Long week of wrestling, but I thought it's been great week. I thought, and we're gonna cap it off here with AEW Revolution happening this Sunday night. I am excited. I mean, let's talk about it. How excited are you for this pay per view? I am pretty excited. I am not as excited I am typically in the past for AEW pay per views, but I remember feeling that way about the last two, and they ended up being really really good. So maybe it's just like me. Maybe it is what it is. But we'll go through the match, of course. But give me your reading. How do you feel about this pay per view right now?
I feel like excuse the yawn. I feel like we've hit a point now with AEW pay-per-views where it's like, oh, it doesn't look all that good on paper, and then we know the card's gonna deliver. So, like, what's the point of this conversation every single time, Twitter folks?
Hmm.
But we have it every single time. Um, I'm kind of back and forth because there's some matches I'm really looking forward to. There's some matches I don't want to watch at all.
Yeah.
Um, it's a wrestling pay-per-view. Not every pay-per-view can be hit, you know?
Hmm.
It's just not possible. It's kinda like the problem that you started to see at one point when everyone expected surprises every pay-per-view that Tony Khan did, and then those stopped. Now, don't get me wrong, we'll talk about it a little bit. I think there's gonna be some surprises on
And
Sunday.
not just a surprise, a major announcement. We talk about this. There's a difference.
Oh, yeah.
There was an
Yeah,
important
he said
announcement for
he said
TV.
major announcements, right? He
Yeah.
said, like, major everything,
Yes,
right?
the TV All Access was an important announcement. This is a major announcement, which we have figured out that major, whenever he
Mhm.
says that, is actively more important than important. So
much more important.
so this is gonna could be big. Could be big. We'll talk
So
about what that could be.
so thinking about the card, there are 3 matches that stand out to me as like, yeah, these are going to be fantastic.
Okay.
60-man Iron Man match,
Mm-hmm.
like it's Danielson. I know it's going to work. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not worried about it. 60 minutes, I'm always worried about just because it's a long time.
Sure.
But
But he's
I'm
done
sure,
2 60-minute matches or
yeah.
one or a 60-minute
Well, I mean,
match. A
he's not the
30.
problem.
Yeah, that's true.
He won't be the problem.
True.
If there's a problem, he won't be it.
True.
Then there's Moxley and Page, which I think is the biggest match of the show
I agree.
in a lot of ways.
I'm most anticipated for that match.
Yeah, it's been built perfectly. And then the trios title match, because I'm not an idiot. I know what the Elite are gonna do. I'm not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's stop. Like I don't care. At a certain point, I don't care what the build is. I know they're gonna go out there and they're gonna deliver. That's what they do.
100%.
Then there's matches where I'm like, let's see. I'm 50-50 on.
Yeah.
You got Samoa Joe, Wardlow. You got Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Christian Cage in a final burial match. I wish it was still no holds barred.
Yeah.
So now I'm a little shaky on that.
Well, let's go match by match. Let's talk.
Yeah,
about
we'll
it,
actually preview it now. And then there's the matches that I am not excited about. Which
but let's start off. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hear. Maybe we'll hear one more. I don't know if we will, but we at least have two pre-show matches announced already.
We have 2?
We have 2 pre-show matches. Ready? Here, strap in, baby. We
we
have
have 1.
Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta versus John Silver and Alex Reynolds.
When was that announced? That's a nice match.
That's a nice little match right there. That's a nice
When
little
was
match.
that announced?
Recently. I'm on Wikipedia. I don't know.
Is there a graphic for this?
I don't know. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. How about that? Okay. Well, that's a good one.
You're right. There is no annotation attached, so I don't know if I should trust it, but that's what it says here. So we'll just go with it. And then also a 6-man tag team match: Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers, Penta and Ray Phoenix, versus Arya Daivari and Josh Woods and Tony Nese as the other 6-man tag match. How are you feeling about these nice little matches here?
That's exactly how I feel about them. They're nice little matches. I think the trios will be fun. If the tag actually happens, I'm sure that'll be really good.
Mm-hmm.
But the trios, I'm looking forward to Briscoe and the Lucha Bros. I think they're going to be a fun trio to watch. Yeah. I'm kind of sick of getting these Trustbuster / whatever the hell these guys are on my TV on every single show now, which we'll get to later. But it's fine. They're not bad. It's just they're boring.
Yeah, they're just low card heel gimmick things where it's like, all right, I have no interest.
Up until Thursday, I did think Josh Woods was bad. So
that's true. We'll talk about that. And let's get to the actual main card here. So first off here, Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry in a final burial match. Like you said, it was at one point in time a no holds barred match. And then suddenly it became a final burial match. Now, what is a final burial match, you may ask? Well, I don't exactly know, but the belief is that it is going to be a sort of...
If Jungle Boy loses, I'll know what it means.
I think final burial, to do the sort of play off of the burial term, I think it is just a buried alive match. So that is what we're going to be getting. It makes sense based off of the promo that they were doing here. I'm sure the finish of the match will be Jungle Boy doing a concerto to Christian and then rolling his dead body into a grave or whatever. But Jungle Boy versus Christian, final burial. They did a little video package where they showcased like their entire history and how it's sort of centered around the concerto, and Jungle Boy not being able to do it, refusing to do it at times, and Christian being like, "Oh, I'll do it. I don't give a shit." And then just knocking out Jack Perry loopy. But yeah, no. And now we're gonna get a final burial match here. So I don't know how I feel about it. I thought the video package, which showing the history, was interesting. I thought Jungle Boy fake tears was bad and cringy. But so I'm and you know how I feel about Jack Perry. He's gotten better. He's not terrible, but he's gotten a little bit better for me. I don't know about this match. How do you feel about it?
I think they're going to have a really good match. Now that we've talked about it, now that I've sat here and thought about it, and I think back to that Luchasaurus match, the steel cage,
That was a
and,
surprise, yeah.
and yeah, and everything that's gone together to make this feud happen. This is the match they were always supposed to have. When they first had that match and Christian Cage beat him in seconds because Christian Cage got hurt,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what was supposed to happen here.
Mhm.
So this is the match we were supposed to have, and at the end of the day, Christian Cage is a very good professional wrestler, and he's going to do his best to, I think, to get Jungle Boy over. That's what this whole feud's about.
Mhm.
It comes down to the performance of Jungle Boy, but I think most times than not, his actual in ring is what's best about him.
Yeah.
It'll be see how much they go down the soap opera route, like because that's the danger with
Yeah.
something like this. But if you play to that Jungle Boy we saw 2 weeks ago when he attacked Christian Cage on the stage,
Yes.
and you just pull that trigger, should be great. Truthfully, like it should get to that next level.
I've never been more like hot and cold on Jungle Boy in the past 2 weeks. I was super into Mr. Jungle Boy coming out with two chairs, sort of like all jazzed up, like, oh yeah, let's do it, baby. I was like, yeah, this is the kind of guy I want to see. This is how I want to see on my television. And then the week after that, he's on television crying, digging a grave. It's like, come on, man, what are you doing? This guy is all over the place for me at this point, which is, I guess, better than nowhere on the radar for me. I mean, you're right. It's going to be a good match. I think it's just like the soap opera ness can at times be too heavy handed, and maybe it doesn't matter because it's pay per view. At the end of the day, it's going to be a good match. It's a final burial match, so we'll see what that looks like. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. It's going to be a good match. I'm maybe like a 6 out of 10 or whatever on like excitement meters.
That's
So
where I am for the entire card overall. Probably 6.5 now. I think it's gone up.
well,
Um,
let's
yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good.
let's talk about it. The next match here. I know you're excited for this one. Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks. The Jericho Appreciation Society are of course banned from ringside at one point in time. This was everybody. Then it got changed to just JAS. So, Scotty, I know you're excited. I know you're amped. I know you're hyped for old Starksy Boy and Jericho one on one, yet again. I know you're amped. I know you're feeling like, oh, there's gonna be no shenanigans. There's now gonna be Big Show popping up. It's not gonna be Action Andretti or popping up. There's not gonna be someone in a mask or something popping up. Tell me, I know you're excited for this match, right, Scotty?
Couldn't be less excited if I tried. There has come a point, Tony Khan, where you don't need to force a Chris Jericho match on paper. I promise you, this match is not going to sell your pay per view in any way, shape, or form. No one's going to look at this pay per view and be like, oh man, Chris Jericho's got a singles match. I got to have it. No one's going to say that with Ricky Starks. I'm sorry. Because this feud has been stupid. Ricky Starks beat him, and then they continued the feud. It doesn't make sense.
Not
I would
not
trade,
just has beat Jericho, but has beaten like almost every member I think of
except
JAS.
for yeah, he even beat Daniel Garcia finally, so it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. I would trade this for Swerve and Keith Lee yesterday, tomorrow, the next day, and a week from now, a month from now, a year from now.
Hmm.
The fact that I have to watch this on pay per view, it doesn't feel like a pay per view match. It feels like a Dynamite main event at the very, very most.
Hmm. That's a good
But
point.
I can't wait for the shenanigans.
For the folks at home, he put on his glasses in a very CSI Miami style. I wish I had a sound cue queued up to do the yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's this match has always been plagued by story, in a weird
That
way.
sounds like Chris Jericho's entire past 2 years.
like I'm not worried about Jericho putting over Starks or because that's what he does at the end of the day with a lot of these feuds. It's just that
He beat MJF Ted this
but
feud.
that's I mean yeah that's true. But he tends to put over like newer guys. Like he put over Orange Cassidy at the end of it all, but that was in a crappy match. He'll probably put over Ricky Starks. He put over Action Andretti, as it were. Um, it's just these things of like he will lose. Jericho will lose. It's just the build to this match has just been like weirdly convoluted because it's been always built around this idea of like I want to wrestle you to basically I want to wrestle you. Starks is saying to prove that I can beat you without any help. That you don't need any help, and I'm trying to be like, oh, you don't need it. Which is fine, but we also know that like that's he's gonna have help, and someone's gonna get involved. Someone's gonna turn and join JAS, and it's just it's too convoluted of a story. It doesn't quite work. The pieces don't fit together, and that's really what has deterred this match. I'm sure it's going to be a good match. I feel like their first match was good. So again, it's not that good. It's just in a company that doesn't tell stories, this story is just too convoluted. Maybe if they told more stories, they would have a better sense of how to do storytelling. But they're just having a tough time with this one, guys. I think maybe we should give them a pass because of that. One story out of none. You gotta give. They don't do this all the time. It's just they gotta figure out the storytelling.
I think the Action Andretti match was a mistake.
For whom?
Us.
The people at
I
large.
I don't think making him a guy was needed at this time because I think he's still very raw as a overall guy. Like he's not Parker Bordeaux raw, but he's raw. He can do the high flying stuff. He's good at that. Sure,
Sure.
you can toss him in a ladder match or multi man. He's gonna shine.
Sure.
Um, but not as well as Commander did. Um, but like anytime he cuts a promo or something, I don't care. Like that was a spot where you could add Takeshi to get a big win. Or
Yeah.
someone like that that's clearly ready for that spot,
Hmm.
if you know what I'm saying. Um, I don't think the Andretti like if Action Andretti joins the JS, that's not gonna help him at all. In my opinion, I think the JS has nuked Daniel Garcia into the floor after bringing him up because they didn't cut the cord on that. They just kept going and going and going and going and going. And the Action Andretti stuff is where all this feud comes
Yeah.
because that's when it went to Ricky Starks and so on. Ricky Starks needs to win. I don't know what's next for Ricky Starks after that, but he needs to win. That's about all I can say. Ricky Starks seems like that type of guy that's just going to be stuck in the mud for the foreseeable future because I don't see him winning a title anytime soon.
I I agree. I think the hope of this feud was to make Ricky Starks more of a star in terms of like putting him on like a path to get to a championship or world title. But I don't think this has done that. And I agree. I think Jericho storylines and stuff, what's great about them is that you're on TV every week and you get to showcase your stuff and try out and work with someone who has a lot of experience, who ultimately puts you over at the end of the day. The problem of it all is that, like you said, one point in time, Garcia was red hot, and then they just kept him in JS, and he's gotten colder. Starks in that MJF storyline, red hot, and now he's cooled off. Action Andretti, red hot that one match, and then he's just continued because he showcased more of his promos and his match stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, this guy is not ready, which is fine. I don't think he needs.
It's fine.
I don't think he
He's
needs to
young.
be ready. He's young. Yeah, he's not. He's a rookie still. He's only wrestled for like 4 years, so it's not like he needs to be anything yet. But it's just like, okay, it's Jericho it's putting people over the thing, but at the same time, he's cooled a lot of people's momentum, um, which is good or bad. You can decide, I guess. Um, I don't know.
Most people.
Most people,
I
I would
think
say it's
he
bad.
I think he even cool I think he cooled Claudio's.
Hmm.
Um I think he cools pretty much everyone he touches it these days. I've been very open on the show. I thought he ruined MJF. MJF needed that Darby match to get back on track, and then the CM Punk feud, obviously. Um,
I
I'm gonna
forgot.
talk
I
about
forgot how dire it was for MJF until that Darby match.
yeah, I'm gonna
That,
talk about CM Punk a lot today, folks. Just get prepared. But yeah, this match, Ricky Starks needs to win. If they do shenanigans and he loses, then gross. This should all be to build up maybe a Ricky Starks TNT title match, whether that's against Samoa Joe or Powerhouse
oh,
Hobbs, which would make a
someone
lot
he's
of sense.
formerly in the tag team with. Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that would be a feud that makes sense because I think they still have unfinished business, right? They still have a third match
Yep.
to tell.
Yes,
So
they
it
do.
almost feels like that's too good to be true for the next pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, Powerhouse Hobbs wins and then you can tell that story. Because Double or Nothing's not that far away.
No,
Um,
it's like 2
which I
months.
always forget about. Yeah, it's not a long wait. So yeah, I mean I think that's the way they should be going with all this is Ricky Starks, then Powerhouse Hobbs wins, and then that's your kind of your Double or Nothing match that makes the most sense.
Speaking about CM Punk, let's talk about the AEW World Trios Championship match. The Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, taking on and defending their titles against the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. Now, we talk about story and all this stuff, and this match doesn't have like a whole lot of story since it's only been built up in the past like couple weeks with really no promos on the Elite end. Well, no promos on the Elite end and like
I got a
one
story for you.
promo in House of Black, but this match is gonna be great. What's your story for me?
House of Black needs to win
Agreed. Agreed.
for their sake of their entire faction. They need to win.
Yes.
So otherwise, everything they do is for nothing.
Yes.
And the story that comes from that is a certain trio is now free to do stuff, which of course is Mr. Kenny and the Young Bucks, and I don't know, could lead to something here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe a big feud, maybe a big couple matches. I don't know, but for this match alone, it's gonna be great. No worry about that.
Yeah.
But House Black need the win.
I agree. I think they need the win, and I see what you're saying. You're sort of alluding to the CM Punk FTR of it all. I think if that doesn't fall through, I think this story could easily just be for the chase of the titles on the Elite's end.
Mm.
Even though they just chased them for 7 matches in a row
Well,
against Death Triangle.
you got to think about it. It's been since September that they've been stuck with these titles, in all seriousness,
Sure, yeah.
because they won them at All Out. Well, actually, no, before that, they had the tournament
Yeah.
to get there, plus All Out, plus suspension, plus coming back, plus 7-match series. Like, they've had a lot of this,
Then the Top
despite
Flight
not being
feud.
around the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's okay to move on. And a certain tag division could use the Young Bucks.
That's probably true. That's probably true. And yeah, I think it's something that they need to do. I think the lack of story for me feels like it's going to be story on the back end after the
Yeah.
match. I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
So I think we'll see I think it's more of a this match is going to be great, and then everything else will unfold after that, and we'll get a better idea after the fact.
Yeah. I think there's more story to tell between these two teams because I know there's no rematch clauses, but you never really did any singles matches between it. Well, there are, and there isn't, but there are. You didn't have any singles matches between these guys. You didn't do any of that type of stuff. So there's ways to, maybe work this to a Dynamite special if they have one coming up. I can't think of one that they do, but
St. Patty's Day.
St. Patrick's Day Slam. So you could always do that one. You could have the rematch there if you wanted to. So those are just some ideas. Those are just some possibilities for them. But I think House of Black needs this win. They might need this win more than anyone needs a win on this show.
Yeah. St. Patrick's Day is like the next event thing. They also have obviously Battle on the Belts as well.
That's not real.
That is not real. You're right. St. Patrick's Day is also in Winnipeg. So I don't know. Maybe there's an old Kenny Omega match that needs to be airing in Winnipeg. Maybe it's against Brody. Maybe against Malachi. Or maybe it's against his clone buddy. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those three. But it really
This
feels
clone
like
buddy.
there's. Oh, and by the way, it's not just that. It's Wednesday after Revolution is Sacramento, California. Young Bucks country of California. The week after that is Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Man, it feels like we're gonna get some matches here. It feels like we're gonna get some matches soon.
Yep. Yeah, I think the House of Black get the win.
I agree. Next match here is going to be three-way for the AEW Women's World Title. Jamie Hayter, Saraya, and Ruby Soho. This match obviously built around this idea of which side is Ruby Soho on? Is it Saraya, the former WWE outsiders coming to the company? Is it Jamie Hayter, a born and bred, raised AEW gal? What's gonna happen? I don't expect this match to be. I don't know. This match, the Saraya end of it, not gonna be good. The Soho end could be good. Jamie Hayter gonna be great. I do not. That is my range of emotions about this match.
This match won't be good. It's gonna be an absolute cluster. Jamie can't save this. I think Jamie can do a lot of things. She's not gonna be able to save this because Saraya is a mess.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of fear that Saraya may win this belt, which would be bad. It would be really bad. It would be like that would be the ultimate 1 step forward, 10 steps back. It wouldn't even be 2 steps back. That's like 10. Yeah, I just
At that point, let's just bring back Thunder Rosa. I'd rather just do that.
That's so true. The thing with this match is I know that Jamie needs to win. Like Jamie needs to win. You don't need to be changing the title here. This isn't even the story. The story isn't about the title.
No. This is a classic WWE story.
Yeah, so it kind of stinks. Got a lot of stink to it. And I will lose my mind if Saraya is champion because she doesn't deserve it. She hasn't done anything to deserve it. I understand she's a ratings draw 1 week. Congratulations to her. I'm so happy your match with Sky Blue happened to pop a rating. Guess what? It wasn't good.
She's been panned left, right, and center. Even the owner of the company in press conference saying like, "Oh well, when asked about how bad Saraya has been, essentially, oh well, that's what happens when you let them talk wherever they want for the first one." Like almost like acknowledging like, yeah, I understand that people didn't like it. So, like openly saying that this is not Saraya has not been good in this company.
Like, I know we're just working towards blood and guts. Obviously, like that's where this is going.
Sure.
So why do we have to involve the title? There's no reason. I know why. There's a pay-per-view to sell. I understand that. But why couldn't you just have given Jamie a cool match?
I don't know.
That's what people are tuning into your pay-per-view for. They're not tuning in for Saraya. I promise they're not tuning in for Saraya.
I don't know why they couldn't have done Britt versus Saraya versus Soho and then do Hayter versus Storm.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we didn't do that, especially when there's no TBS title on the line on this show, and that is the only women's match on the show. I don't understand why we could have done the two. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone complain about that on Twitter yet. I don't think they realize that this is the only.
I looked at it. And, well, yeah, it's because like the other one's Jade, and I think everyone's fed up with Jade too.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, shit.
Yeah,
there's no win-win here.
Well, the win-win is you do Britt instead of Jamie here, and then do Jamie versus Storm. That's going to be a great match that everyone's going to be excited about. You move Jericho and Starks to. I mean, I get why he's on the pay-per-view, but you move him to the TV, do that match there. Maybe do Samoa Joe versus Wardlow on TV as well. That you do that, and just put in a Hater Storm instead. Instead of do a WWE ass triple threat match that is not about the Matt belt.
You know what? I'll just say it now. I was gonna wait till the tag team match, but I'll just say it now. I am sick of all the pay-per-view matches being multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm absolutely sick of it.
Same.
This is like wicked WWE.
Yeah.
It's worse because you have so many less pay-per-views. Right? Like, so the last pay-per-view you were fine. You had one-on-one women's match,
Mm-hmm.
and you had I think you had Swerve in Our Glory and the Acclaim. So that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
The pay-per-view before that, you had the big Fatal 4-Way for the women.
Yep.
You had Swerve in Your Glory and the Acclaim, so that's fine. But my point is that having multiple ones of these on one show stinks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like having one, and now we're having multiple. I hated when they did it with the world title, when they did Omega, Cassidy, and Pac once upon a time. I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
And they just keep doing this, and I get that the Ruby Soho part of this kind of does make it that's true, but I like your idea better. Just do that, and then do Tony, do the rematch, call it a day there.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing. Instead, we have this. It's going to be messy. It's going to be ugly, and I do fear that Saraya is walking out as champion.
Saraya has been an active harm to this company, and she feels like she might be winning a title here, or at least And I think that maybe that's the thing. This feels like
And
WWF.
people say CM Punk's a problem.
There's been maybe that's the problem is that this match is very WWE booking to it, and maybe that's why we're like, oh, Saraya's going to win because that's the dumb option. Because maybe that's true. Maybe that's the reason we feel that way is because it feels like a WWE match.
True.
Anyways, let's talk about a match we're actually excited for: Texas Death. Jon Moxley, Adam Page. This is my most anticipated match of the entire event. All of their matches this past couple months have been great. I have gone 4+ stars on every single one of them. They have been just putting out great work. Their promos the entire time are great. This last one of Moxley was just out of this world. A fantastic, like super memorable moment of this guy screaming about this match, bloodied out of his mind on the stairwell and just dripping onto the concrete below him. You have Adam Page, who's cutting great promos. That great promo about his kid, I'll never forget that one. That didn't even air on television now that I think about it, but that's a shame, but that one was fantastic. It's just so good. This story, this build of just two guys that just want to kick the crap out of each other has been built so well, and their output has been so good in between that this match is only gonna be great. I am super excited, and not just gonna be great, it's also Jon Moxley in a Texas Death Match, so he's gonna kill it, and it's Adam Page who's done 2, I think, at this point, and won both of them against Lance Archer and Adam Page.
His match.
Adam Cole. So yeah, it's becoming his match against Jon Moxley, who we know is a good deathmatch guy. So it's very excited. Very, very excited about this match. Everything about this match screamed professional wrestling to me. And I'm super excited. Super excited about this one.
It can be AEW's greatest match. Yeah. I know that's saying a lot. They've had a lot of great matches, but the way you've told the story,
yeah,
what we've seen so far in their matches, add in the Texas Death aspect, something that plays to both of their strengths, and following these great promos, and you're going to have all that emotion while watching this match. That's what matters the most. That's why people say that Hangman and Kenny versus the Young Bucks is their greatest match, or something else. You can pick whatever you want, but I know that's a favorite, so sure. I'll say that's because there was story behind it. Well, this has all the story behind it. It has the perfect match stipulation. You just need to tell the story right, and that's what they do. Is that these two are very good at telling the story. Hangman Adam Page, by the way, he's back to being that top babyface. He couldn't be more back to being it. He's been absolutely phenomenal.
He's just slightly different. Is it still top babyface that's just slightly changed in terms of style.
He has the tick now to him that I think you wanted to see when he was champion.
Better than the tick. He's got the dog.
He sure does have the dog. And maybe he's out there something to prove. His name's getting tossed around a lot in stories these days. Has been for months. And He's been good. He's been quiet. He just keeps trucking forward because that's who Adam Hangman Page is. So, what's the best way to shut people up? You go out there, you put on one hell of a match. That's something he does really well. Um, John Moxley does really well. I legitimately think this hit. Not only do I think this will be the match of the night, I think it can be AEW's match of the year, no question. And I think it can be much more than that, depending how far they're willing to go. Um, I can't wait. I'd give them 25 minutes of just beating the ever living crap out of each other
Yeah.
and just and I would do it early when the crowd's red hot. I wouldn't wait too long. You don't want this match near that 60-minute Iron Man match.
No. You don't want it in the 60-minute one, but you also don't want it like necessarily in the lull. It could work in getting out of the lull of the pay-per-view, which
There's
always
so many
happens.
matches that are lulls that I don't think they have to worry.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying, like the issue of that is like you want it to be the match that gets you out of the lull in case of like the match the crowd's not super into it, but you're waking up the crowd to get into the last half of the
Just
show.
kick the show off with it.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
It's either this or the Elite match, I think.
I agree. I think I could see them opening up with the Elite, and especially if it's
This is
a
a little
change.
too bloody. Maybe you don't want to start off with this.
That's true. Yeah, that'll be 8 p.m. bloody. I guess.
Yeah, and you got to reset the rings and stuff that you just set up. Maybe you want to wait a little longer. But it should be absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, this is I'm super excited about this. I cannot wait.
I almost forget that they've already had so many matches.
They've had 3 already, and all of them have been fantastic. There's no reason this won't be great. AEW TNT title match: Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. The problem with this match is it's cold.
You don't give a shit about Wardlow.
He cooled off immensely. I don't like the haircut.
It's bad.
It makes his head looks weird now. And I'm watching this match and I'm thinking to myself, ooh, can't wait for that Hobbs match. Like that's what I'm excited for. It feels like, I don't know. Like I prefer I would rather not watch this match and just skip to Wednesday Night Dynamite and see the Hobbs match versus whoever it's going to be.
I watch this match. I say, man, did Darby come back?
Yeah.
They told a good story, right, with the Wardlow thing in the back and the segment about how he took what he had left of his dad or whatever, and yada yada yada.
That was great.
Cold.
That was a good.
It was great. It was great. It gave the match purpose. It made me more interested in the match than I was going to be, but it's still a pretty dull match. You don't have Wardlow win this, I'll tell you that, because Powerhouse Hobbs is waiting on the other side, and if you do that, then Powerhouse Hobbs isn't winning, and that would be stupid. You have to really rebuild Wardlow. I don't know how you do that, but giving him this title will just hurt him, I think, more than anything.
Because it will also signify him as a transitional champion.
Yeah, unless he just beats Powerhouse Hobbs,
which I won't,
which would be again bad.
Yeah.
I think Hobbs has made himself red hot.
Yeah.
At least he's built himself back up. At least.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that Joe wins here. We move to Hobbs. Hobbs gets the belt, and Hobbs finally gets a run.
Yeah, I agree. And Joe's been good. For the most part. It's just the Wardlow of it all that isn't as good. 4-way tag team match for the AEW World.
Joe's also a champion of another show, so
that's also true. I think no matter what, Joe is going to no longer have the title at some point. It's just versus Wardlow or versus Hobbs. I think that's the question. Yeah. 4-way for the AEW World Tag Team title match. I know you're excited about this one. The Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn versus the Acclaimed, who are doing a rematch clause, versus Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. I understand. I'll start first because I know what you're going to say. I understand the idea of it not being great, a match on paper, and I agree. And I think part of it, and I was thinking about this all week, that I was like, I wonder how much of this bad match is because we had 2 shitty battle royals. Like if those matches were better or they were just different tag matches.
Battle royals are bad. AEW does battle royals really bad,
Not all the time. They've had good ones in the past.
but they've done so many that most of them are bad.
They've gotten to the point now where it's like I can tell you which ones are good and which ones are bad.
These
They've
both
gotten
were
to the point.
bad, and
Both of them were
they
bad.
ruined their casino gimmick this week.
That
So
was
that's
frustrating. I think the Kingdom were supposed to be the Jokers. That was supposed to be the big surprise.
that would have been fine.
Yeah,
Though they announced them beforehand, so
true. They just did a Royal Rumble gimmick.
oh, it's so bad.
But yeah, I this match not good on paper. I understand that there is story applying to all of this. All four of these teams have had interactions before and have been feuding
Great.
with each other before, and that's good. Hey, we're doing
Great.
story. You can't yell at them for doing story, but you can yell at them for not putting a great match together. And Scotty, I'll give you that floor now.
Yeah, that Fatal 4-Way tag on Rampage had story. They all interacted with each other in the Battle Royal, so by default, they also had a story. This match sucks. There is nothing redeeming about this except for Jeff Jarrett. And if that's what you're doing with a tag title match, you've messed up. I don't give a shit about the Guns. We know they're transitional champions. We do. You're not giving them a long reign. You're just having them hold the belts long enough until someone's ready to come back. The Acclaimed, I don't care about them anymore. I'm done. I'm done with the daddy ass stuff. I'm over it. Been over it. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, I've seen them lose 100 times, so I don't even know why they're in. I know they won the Battle Royal, but I've seen them lose title matches now twice. Why are we doing it a third time? Danhausen and Orange Cassidy, get the fuck out of here. Like, I can't stand these two. And I can't stand even more that you had a Battle Royal that had the Kingdom, that had Aussie Open, that had Blackpool Combat Club, that had Roosh and even Preston Vance. I think Preston Vance stinks, but you know, whatever.
Yes.
Roosh is still good.
Yep.
You had all these teams, and you went with these two. After Orange Cassidy wrestled earlier in the night.
A team that, even though they're in the same group together, in that night were a makeshift tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're not planning on being in the Battle Royal until
this
that night.
Has so much WWE stink on it. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Especially the makeshift team.
Yes.
This is the WWE WrestleMania. We need to have a tag title match on our show. And here's a bunch of teams. We'll just put them all in there and we'll see what they do. Sure, maybe this year's WrestleMania will be different, but every other WrestleMania isn't. I literally could look up what the tag team title match was last year, and I'm probably, you know what? I'm going to. Now I'm angry. What was WrestleMania? 38? 38?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Give me a second. Let me cook. Give me a second.
I'm gonna
last year was no. I got it.
Got it.
RK Bro defeated the Street Profits and Alpha Academy in a triple threat match.
I don't remember
exactly
about that match.
And you know what the other tag title match was? The Usos defeated Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs.
Oh, that was a match where Rick Boogs got super injured.
Yeah, he did. But my point is,
just now coming back to wrestling.
The problem is there's no great tag team here in terms of in-ring prowess. The Acclaimed are good. Yeah. But I don't think they're the Young Bucks, FTR. They're not them. Right? I don't want anyone to win this match.
I want Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal to win.
That's a problem, though. That's the problem.
Agreed.
You want the other heels to win the belts.
Yes, they're the most entertaining of the group.
Yeah,
right now.
Sure, whatever. Sure, go crazy. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't like any of this. I don't like it. I don't want to watch it. The fact that I'm gonna have to watch it, I have to review it hours later. But like, this is the ultimate piss break.
Yeah.
I wish the Best Friends were in this, because if they won, I'd be fine.
It would make more sense to me, but I understand that we had to beat them up and take them out.
If they were the if they were the team you were doing the Guns run for, that would be fine. They've
Yeah.
done their time. Give
Yeah.
them a title run. Give them a token title run. Go crazy.
Best Friends would also have a lot of fans interested in that match, and
Yeah.
also I would love, and Trent would be the workhorse of the match.
I was gonna say would be the best person in the match by far.
Chucky T and any interaction between Chucky T and Jeff Jarrett would be fantastic.
Yeah. But instead, we have the Guns, the Acclaim, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal. Like, my hope is that the whole thing is someone gets beat down in the back. That's my hope. I hope and it ends up being FTR that did it to get in.
Mm-hmm.
I want the ultimate WWE stake of the smoke and mirrors now. I need something to save me.
One of the reasons why the Acclaimed. Can I do the hot take here? Because we don't talk about AEW that much.
Well, that's not my fault.
That's true. I didn't like the Acclaimed title reign because
Me either.
I feel like the Acclaimed
Are a gimmick.
feel too WWE. They're mostly a gimmick and mostly an entrance. They are great wrestlers, but they are mostly they are more the two things. And their reign of all these like promos of like the walk of hall of a walk of fame, hand butt signing thing, and the celebrations and birthday celebrations, all this stuff felt very WWE to me. And I walked away watching them being like, AEW's made a great tag team here, but the Acclaimed are just better suited for WWE, I think. I think if they went to WWE, they would be all-timers in that company. Legitimately.
I don't. I think they'd be
fair.
fine. I think they would be just another tag team because they don't care about tag team wrestling in WWE.
Well, that's true. That is
so I think that's the main problem there.
I'm saying you got a better rapper than Enzo Amore, and that was super over, and a better team than Enzo Amore and Big Cass.
I get you.
You got something there.
Yeah, I didn't like the reign either. I've said it week after week. I was done with it, and then they gave the belts to the Guns. My problem is that this is supposed to be the best tag team division in the world.
Correct.
It is the best tag team division in the world. But you have none of the teams that make it that in the match. You don't have the Lucha Bros. We have the Lucha Bros on the card. We just don't have them in the match.
Yep.
It's things like that.
Yeah.
And it just and this is how the title's been for months. It's been this way since Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus were champions.
And that was
a year ago.
Yeah, that wasn't like a stupendous reign.
Right. The Young Bucks had him for 2 seconds to get him onto Swerve in Our Glory. I thought Swerve in Our Glory did a good job, but they didn't get real challengers. They lost the belt immediately to the Acclaimed, pretty much. Their challengers were Tony Nese and shithead McGee over there, Josh Woods.
Yeah.
That's what their challengers were. That's the problem. The best tag team division in the world isn't allowed to be the best tag team division in the world. The best tag team in AEW last year didn't touch the titles once. They didn't even have a tag title match. Maybe we get the Lucha Bros once upon a time at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But we don't count that. I forgot the Lucha Bros even had the titles until now.
I did too.
So that's my problem. They need to just get the tag division back on track. I'm not saying you just got to hot shot the belts to the Young Bucks.
No.
But I am saying you got to hot shot the belts to the FTR.
It feels like one of those matches where like here's a bunch of like our homegrown stuff and people that the bookers really like, but they haven't reached like star levels yet. Like it's like when like I think about this, and a late stage Triple H NXT, obviously pushing Kyle O'Reilly to be like a next world champion.
Yeah.
In the time, I was like, I don't think Kyle O'Reilly is like a big star to become like world champion or whatever. But like everything in the promotion like makes sense and is guiding you to that thought of him being world champion. You're like, well, yeah, I get why you think that and why we're going this direction, but it doesn't feel right to me. This is what
Mm.
this is what the Acclaimed, the Gun Club. It's like I get why they're being pushed. I get why they're important to this company, but they don't feel like stars. Versus like
Mm.
other people on this roster, like the Young Bucks, who have had the titles before, and I get maybe why they're against it. And we're building up the Trios division, like the Lucha Bros, who are just coming off of Trios title reign. You know, maybe that's why they're out of it and just all these other, but like a bunch of other teams, FTR, who are again also out, and maybe that's part of it is that they're down stars and they're outside of the booking cycle. They had to do other stuff while we needed something in the tag division, so we did the Acclaim because they were hot, but it's been too long and it hasn't been working too much, and it's just I'm not into this. I'm not into this. It's not
I
working for
can't
me.
believe I'm gonna say this. I would have liked if Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia were in this match.
That would be good too.
And I don't even like Sammy Guevara, but I can sit here and admit that. Top Flight should have been in this match. They're a team that's gaining fans, and they've had a good year so far, and they're not in the match. Like, they have teams that are healthy and ready to go. I saw them all in the Battle Royals past 2 weeks. We just didn't use them.
Yeah, and that's the other thing we should say. They didn't use them because they went with story, right? They went with the story pick of all
A story
these.
that they put together in the past week, yes.
No, 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 no. These teams have all been feuding for in different
The
variations for
best
months now.
friends have been feuding with everyone.
Not everyone. They've been feuding with. They did feud with the Acclaimed, I believe, at one point. They also feuded with the Jarrett and Lethal for the past month or two.
It all stinks.
Not, I should say, the best friends have not really. I mean, really, it's just Orange Cassidy is just the best friends at this point. Um,
Ugh.
but yeah, no, they've been feuding with Jeff Jarrett and G Lethal at times, and obviously now they have a little bit of beef with specifically the Gun Club for taking out Chucky T and Trenty Boy. Um, so they're going for story. They didn't go with a
Ugh.
banger of a match because they went with story. Do we fault them for that? Well, to me, the story doesn't quite click for me. I get why. Again, I get why you're doing this. It makes sense that you're doing this. I'm okay with you doing a story for the match, but it doesn't. It's not clicking. It's not
The
clicking for
one
me.
time they go with the freaking story, it's the worst possible story to go with. Oh my god. Should have just did. I know Darby's gone and busy doing a stupid show, but Sting and Darby would have been perfect to win these belts.
I agree. Let's keep
Ugh.
let's keep moving because we don't have a lot of time and we're still on the first topic. MJF versus Brian
Yes.
Danielson, AEW Iron Man match here. I mean, we already sort of talked about it. This match is going to be fantastic. This match is going to be great. Brian Danielson's going to be great in this
I
match.
actually need to say I'm a little nervous.
Really? What are you nervous about?
Bryan Danielson's pay-per-view matches are weird.
They are weird.
They
Are
never
weird.
are as good as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
His TV matches are. They're almost always way too good to be on TV. So that's like the little thing hanging in the back of my mind. It's like, well, maybe I should be a little careful.
I like how you're worried about Brian Danielson and not MJF.
Well, I am worried about MJF. It's not that I'm worried about Bryan Danielson. I'm just worried about like this weird thing that's happening with his pay-per-view matches.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously not him. It's just something going on with them. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me because he's out here having a wrestler of the year, and I'm sure he's gonna have a great match here. It's just like, keep this in mind. I am worried about MJF. Not because I don't think he can do it.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned how much he leans on heel stuff.
Sure.
Um,
I would just want this match to be an extension of the Darby match.
yeah, pretty much.
Like, just make it great wrestling.
Yeah.
And then at the very last second, MJF does some dastardly thing and gets a win.
Yeah. Or he can just lose.
Dude, this is a pay-per-view. Brian Danielson's not going to win.
No, I know. It would be nice. It would be a fun. It'd be a fun twist if Bryan Danielson randomly won.
Agreed. I can agree to that. I think
that means
that's the concern for me in this match is how does the finish work and will the finish upset AEW fans for having Brian Danielson lose? I think that's where I'm more concerned.
They have to have a big angle at the end of this, right? Because this is so predictable. Like, how many people actually think MJF's losing?
I feel like there's a lot of people wanting Bryan Danielson to win, but I don't think
Sure.
there's a lot of people thinking MJF will lose.
People always want Bryan Danielson to win, though. Like,
True.
that's literally just Bryan Danielson's career.
True.
So, like, it's got to be something.
It's got to be something. There's got to be some sort of angle. If only there was like a guy that was healthy, that maybe was available, that maybe,
Jay White.
Yeah, baby. Now we're talking. The catalyst of professional wrestling. We know he's out of New Japan now. So now we got to see him in old Jamie all showing up at Revolution. Maybe he's the major announcement.
I would be very happy if Jay White walked through the door tomorrow. I'd be very happy.
Me too.
It would make me jump with joy.
Same.
Because I think Jay White would be so good at AEW. Though MJF might be a little scared because then he's no longer the best heel.
Well, they could use another top heel like that.
They could. Wasn't Adam Cole's match originally supposed to be on the show? I know it's All Access now, but wasn't it originally supposed to be Revolution?
It was originally supposed to be Revolution, and then they instead tied it up with All Access to do that instead.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah.
I don't know how him wrestling on that night is going to make people watch All Access. I don't think that would change anything. I think people are going to watch All Access because they're going to be interested no matter what.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to promote All Access through Adam Cole, then you probably need to have like a good storyline to like kind of build interest in All Access. And if only there was a guy that was in the match that got him concussed in the first place. Man.
We're not going to get Jay, are we? With Jay White. We're not going to get him, but
it would make sense.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to think. But when we get CM Punk.
Yep.
Oh, we're cooking in the kitchen. We're cooking with gas.
Yeah, baby.
We're cooking with gasoline because CM Punk, my God, he's coming back. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I couldn't give you a bigger wink, wink, nudge, nudge, people, if I could try.
Yeah, and it's not like he isn't winking. It's just his eyes are so wide open from being awake for 24 hours.
Yeah, I gotta keep him open or we're doomed. Gotta keep him wide open.
The moment he closes them, he's asleep. So
I can't do it. But
even one eye, it doesn't work.
Yeah, if Cult of Personality hits on Sunday, AEW's fixed.
If Cult of Personality opens on Sunday, then that's how we're opening our Patreon live preview following the show.
Live review.
Live preview. No, we're gonna preview the show.
We just did the preview.
No, we're gonna do a live preview of Dynamite after the show of Revolution.
Oh, nice. So he'll probably have the entire card announced by the end of that pay-per-view. So you're probably right.
But yeah, we're gonna do that. That is on the $1 tier. That's what we always do. Live reviews of Revolution of the AEW pay-per-views on our $1 tier of patreon.com. /countoutpod. So go check that out. Subscribe today. All you need to do is be on the $1 tier. That's $1, and you can hear our thoughts on this show. And that's the only place where it's going to be. That's where it's going to live. So go check that out for $1.
Yeah,
folks.
you can see our reactions at live time. It's more fun than the podcast feed.
Yeah, it's more fun. We got a blast. We have a blast and a half and 2 more halves.
Please listen to that too.
Yeah, we'll listen to everything. We'd appreciate it.
Listen to both.
Let's move on. We got not a lot of time, so we're going to blast through here. New Japan Cup was announced. New Japan Cup was officially announced and is starting this Sunday as well. You're going to wake up Sunday morning to New Japan Cup, baby. We got several matches already set in store, so we'll do our typical thing of going through the bracket and making our predictions of who we think is going to win this year's New Japan Cup. And thankfully, smaller grouping this year. Way smaller than last year, which is like 64, 32, something insane like that.
Yeah, it was big. It was big last year.
Big last year. So let's get into it, I think.
There's so much going on. How am I supposed to keep track?
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but let's get into it, Scotty. So, of course, New Japan Cup, like we said, starts this Sunday on 3/5. There'll be 2 matches on 3/5, and it's going to be Sanada versus Taichi and Tetsuya Naito versus El Phantasmo. So we're gonna start there.
You said Desperado, didn't you?
I would have loved for it to be El Desperado, but it's El Phantasmo instead. So there we go. That is the match. What do you think? What are we thinking? How are we feeling about these two matches? And who do we think are going to win here, Scotty?
Well, I'm a professional, folks. I got a whole bracket filled out.
All right, I'm trying to do mine live and figure out how to do this fucking
Kota
thing.
Ibushi was not selected.
Damn.
As he was last year.
Damn.
I would have been right.
You would have been right.
But he couldn't compete, so we'll never know. I don't know why, but Ryan's face just zoomed in so much.
Hello.
Oh my god! I don't know what you did, but I hated that. That was terrible.
I clicked on a wrong button and it zoomed in my camera. I don't know how to undo it at this point. I wonder if I click the button, it zooms again. I don't want to do that.
This is a professional podcast. So I'm gonna Sonata and Tai Chi is one of the toughest ones because they're both down on their luck. They're both kind of stinking it up. But Sonata starts to heat up after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna pick Sonata, and then Naito and Phantasmo. I don't know. I know Bullet Club. Bullet Club is not fine. They need a leader. Probably going to eventually be El Phantasmo. But this is Tetsuya Naito, folks.
Yeah.
I don't think Tetsuya Naito is just going to lose to El Phantasmo. So there's not been enough build-up for El Phantasmo to get that win.
So who are your two picks? It's Naito.
Sonata,
Naito?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Are you picking the complete opposite?
Yep. I'm going with Tai Chi over Sonata. You gotta push just four guys, obviously.
Just four guys. Just four guys.
There's also the winner of that match will be facing Kenta on 311. And by the way, Kenta, this will be the first time that I believe the New Japan Strong title will be in Japan, if I'm not mistaken, through Kenta. Yeah. So you have someone possibly who could be a challenger for the Strong title. Maybe it's Taichi, who's leaning into more of that sort of road gimmick. I
think you put a lot of stock into a title that I don't think they put that much stock into.
That's fair. And then Naito El Phantasmo, I think with Jay White gone, they've been obviously wanting to push El Phantasmo for a little bit. They obviously bumped him up from junior to heavyweight, sort of feuding with Shingo there. I think this is the moment. Big shock win over Naito. That's the upset win of the tournament, and they love doing that, especially night one. I think they give it to El Phantasmo because they're trying to establish a new Bullet Club possible leader guy. I think that's the gimmick.
Bullet.
Let's move right down to the next section of this bracket. We got Ren Narita versus Evil on 3-8. The winner of that will face Jeff Cobb. We have Toru Yano versus Mark Davis. Everyone's excited about that one. Versus the winner of that will be facing Will Ospreay. So what do you think about those first two matches?
Evil, baby.
All the way. It's gotta be Evil, baby.
My guy. And then Mark Davis, because I really want to see Mark Davis versus Will Ospreay. We probably won't because New Japan stinks and they actually aren't back. But you know what? I want to see Will Ospreay and Mark Davis, so I'm going to use my heart here. I'm never picking Toru Yano. That guy stinks.
I'm also going Mark Davis. I would much rather see that match. I think the problem with that is that match is more about me being like, I just don't want to see Yano. just don't want to see Yano.
You want an Ospreay match wasted on Toru Yano.
Yeah. I mean, will they do Empire versus one another? I don't know.
They could do it twice.
They could do it twice.
Bracket.
That is true. In this, it would have to. It'd have to go all the way to the finish. But I don't know.
Because Jeff Cobb's on the other side.
Oh, you're right. Jeff Cobb is on this side, the same side of this. Yeah, they could do that. That would be wild.
I'm doing the thing. I think this is how they do it. I've never actually paid attention.
Yeah, that's how they do it. I'm picking Mark Davis, and I am going to pick. Let's do Ren Narita. Let's give him a win. Let's give old Ren Narita baby over.
Ren Narita.
Why not? On the other side, we have Yoshihashi versus Kyle Fletcher. One half of the Yoshihashi being one half the tag team champions. Not at this point in time, potentially. should be noted. By 310, he may or may not be the champion because the anniversary event is 3-6. So so we'll see. But potentially, Yoshihashi, one half of the tag team champions against Kyle Fletcher. The winner of that will face the other half of the tag team champions in Hiroki Goto. Then you also have Shingo Takagi versus Aaron Henare. The winner of that will face Tama Tonga. So who are you thinking?
There's no shot we're doing a Bishamon singles match. Not a chance in hell. And I also think Kyle Fletcher I would like to see as a singles guy. So
yeah, I think Kyle Fletcher's an easy one over Yoshihashi, eventual challengers for the tag titles. I guess this is also our preview for the anniversary event. I think the match was going to be great with Okada and Tanahashi versus Yoshihashi and Goto, but I think Yoshihashi and Goto are going to walk away with the winners of that. And I think
I don't.
Really? You're thinking they're going to lose the titles at that event?
They made Shota Umino and Ren Narita match against Tanahashi and Okada.
Oh, they did do
that. That was for a reason.
Yeah,
they're going to get crazy. No, they're going to get crazy. They're going to get crazy. You know why? Because I think Gato's got that dog in him this year.
With Jay White gone, the leash is unchained. This is everyone's favorite movie, Gato Unchained.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think they're actually going to lose because Goto can't beat Tanahashi and Okada. Nuh-uh.
Yeah, he's got the help of Yoshihashi.
That's true. That is a good deal. Yoshihashi, as I called on my podcast this week, Saida.
How dare you?
They're the same person.
I think Kyle Fletcher's going to win, and I think Shingo will beat Henare.
Shingo better beat Henare, or we're going to have some problems.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next bracket there. It's 3-6 here. David Finlay versus Tomohiro Ishii. These are the matches that'll be happening at the anniversary event. David Finlay versus Ishii. And then Shota Umino versus Yujiro Takahashi.
Well, David Finlay's getting a push. So, David Finlay.
That's an easy one.
And Shooter's getting a push. So, Shooter.
There we go.
Facing Yujiro.
That's an easy peasy one right there. Moving on to the bye part of the bracket. On my end, I have Taichi versus Kenta, and you have Sonata versus Kenta. Who do you have moving on?
We keep Sonata rolling.
Keep
Kenta loses.
Sonata rolling. I'm gonna have.
Listen, if Gato had full dog, Kenta would be rolling through this like a Noah mofo, but that's not gonna happen. So.
He's got that bite. Kenta's got that bite. I'm gonna go say Taichi wins.
Yeah, so we're picking this. We just both think Kenta's gonna lose. Poor guy.
Yeah. Kenta's
He's used to it.
And that can create a challenge for our title. I have El Phantasmo versus Chase Owens. Everyone's excited about that. And Naito, and you have Naito versus Chase Owens. Everyone's excited about that.
Naito wins.
And I have El Phantasmo winning. I'm not having Chase Owens. I'm not having Chase Owens win this one. Maybe that's the moment in my situation. We're building up new Bullet Club leader. Maybe that's the moment where Chase Owens does the actual gimmick where he allows El Phantasmo by essentially and actually allows him to get pinned. Maybe they finally do the gimmick. They pay it off. Years of lay down for me, and then they lay down, but last second, no, I can't do it. I have to win. They actually have a match. Maybe this is the year they finally do it. Other side of the bracket, we have I have Ren Narita versus Jeff Cobb. You have Evil versus Jeff Cobb. Who's winning this one?
I like your match a lot better. I'm picking Jeff Cobb. I'm just going full United Empire. I'm going crazy over here. I'm just having myself a time.
I am also going to go Jeff Cobb.
So you're going full United Empire with me too.
Yeah, baby. we're turning from an Evil podcast into a UE podcast. I gotta redo all our
Sorry.
Jeff Cobb over Ren Narita, and maybe that can play into maybe like a trios tag title challenge. Maybe.
Sure. Elevate me to the sky. Whoa.
Speaking of, you and I both have Ospreay versus Mark Davis.
Ospreay's beating Mark Davis.
Yeah, okay, moving on.
Why are we even doing that?
Moving on. Goto versus Kyle Fletcher.
Goto wins.
Goto.
I can't get that. I can't get that Undisputed Era happen.
Undisputed Era.
Jesus Christ. What do they call United Empire?
Yeah.
UE. They were both UE. Leave me alone. Whatever the fuck the thing was.
I am gonna say Kyle Fletcher wins. Because
All right.
I'm crazy. I'm gonna say Kyle Fletcher wins just so that he beats both champion or both sides of the champions.
Sure.
In my scenario, cool. And that way, we're challenging for the titles. Because I also don't want, because the other scenario is someone beating Goto while he's champion, and I don't want that to make like another challenger down the line. I guess you could do that. Maybe that's the idea.
All right. Well, I have Shingo Takagi beating Tama Tonga because that makes a never open weight title match.
That would make a never open weight title match. You're right. Yep, I have the same thing. Also, just Shingo should win.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we had David Finlay. I think both of us had David Finlay versus Great-O-Khan.
Yeah, Great-O-Khan's a geek.
That one's I don't know. That one's a little tough. Great-O-Khan, sort of a favorite.
Nah, Great-O-Khan's not a threat. Dude stinks.
There we go. I'm trying to argue for Great-O-Khan, but I'm ultimately picking David Finlay to win this one.
David Finlay's getting a push.
Getting a push, baby. We got some pushes. Got some pushes coming in. And we got Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Shooter, baby.
Ooh, I'm going ZSJ.
Nah, this is the shooter tournament, baby. Feel it.
You're feeling your bones.
I've been told by unnamed sources.
Ooh. Gato? Jado?
Yes.
Jado.
Yeah. Man, I got him on speed dial, actually.
All right. Let us do the next one. That is going to be I have Taichi versus El Phantasmo, and you have Sonata versus Naito.
I'll pick Naito.
LIJ match over here.
Naito.
I am gonna go El Phantaz over Taich.
Oh, El Phantasmo Final Four. Oh God.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, the New Japan Cup's ruined. Fuck.
Okay. You and I both have Jeff Cobb, I believe.
Yeah.
Versus Will Ospreay.
Ospreay.
I'm also gonna go Will Ospreay. I think.
Yeah, of course you are.
And then we'll
You're no silly goose.
We'll finish out this side. I have Ospreay versus Phantasmo. Pretty good. And you have Naito versus Ospreay. Very good.
Ospreay.
I'm gonna have Ospreay win.
Oh, thank God. Well, I thought we were gonna get a Phantasmo New Japan Cup win, and I was gonna have a heart attack.
I mean, possible, I guess, but I'm gonna say Ospreay.
If they really want to push him, they could do that.
They could do that. I'm gonna say Ospreay over Phantasmo. On the other side, we have I have Fletcher versus Shingo, and I think you have Goto versus Shingo.
Yeah, I'm picking Shingo.
I'm also picking Shingo. That's an easy peasy one right there.
Trying to get the best matches, people.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Come on. And then we got David Finlay versus. I have David Finlay versus Zack Sabre Jr. You have David Finlay versus Shota Umino.
We're going with the shooter.
Big shooter push. Big shooter push over there.
Listen, if I had my say, I would be right. Let's just say that.
That's fair. I had Zack Sabre Jr. winning that one over Finlay. So on my side, I have Zack Sabre. A lot
of former New Japan Cup winners.
Oh, maybe El Phantasmo. Maybe it is his year. If my final four right now is Shingo, Zack Sabre Jr., Ospreay, and El Phantasmo, maybe it is an El Phantasmo year. Hold on. You just might have talked me into giving it to Phantasmo, baby. That's wild.
This man just lost to Tama Tonga and never opened the weight title match, and now he's winning the New Japan Cup.
All right, so I got Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shingo. Oof, I think I did Shingo Ospreay last year as the finals.
Creative. Just tell me you want to see the match again,
my
okay?
my bias is coming out.
Yeah, you think?
So you have Osprey versus. Well, no, did we say Shingo versus Shota? What do you got for? All right, so you have Osprey versus Shota Umino. Ooh, a repeat match here.
Mm.
What are you thinking?
Oh, you are. Yeah, I went crazy. He's probably gonna get eliminated by Zack Sabre Jr. But you know what? I just got this gut feeling. Let him ride, baby.
I
Let
think
him ride.
I'm not confident in this, and I think I want to change it up.
So let me pitch my story here first, real quick,
Sure, because I want to. I'm
that.
thinking about this, so it gives me time to think. Because I want to
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
I think I want to change
So
things.
the reason I think this is the final is because you get to play to that Will Ospreay Shooter Umino story from Once Upon a Time, right? Red Shoes stops the match. They also face off a historic crossover.
Yes,
He can't get it done. And you go to the Will Ospreay side. Will Ospreay is trying to get to Kazuchika Okada.
Mm-hmm.
That's his journey. And he loses to Shota Umino in a shocking loss in the finals. He was that close.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Shota Umino's first ever world title match, he gets mopped across the floor by Kazuchika Okada just to make Ospreay go a little more insane, thinking, I was that close. I was that close. And I let a guy that got mopped by Okada beat me. Right to self, people. Or Naito can get to the finals, and then you can just have Shota get the win back over Naito. That also is very possible.
Plus, they have that tag match. They have that tag match set up with Shooter, and Okada. I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna change things up. Here we go.
Whoa, wait now. We wrote this in pen.
Digital pen. I can change it however I want. I'm gonna actually go all the way back. Have Shuda beat Zack Sabre Jr. so that he can challenge for it, and we'll do finally some young guys challenging for this title. I'm going to have then it'll be David Finlay versus Shooter. I'm going to have David Finlay win, disappointing Scotty. And then I'm going to have Finlay versus Shingo and have Shingo win, and just do Shingo and Osprey again.
All right, cool. We're both gonna be wrong. Sounds good.
And then we have Shingo versus Osprey. I think
Shingo literally just fought
it's gonna be
Okada for the belt. Have you watched that yet?
Maybe that's why I have Shingo going to the finals, is because I haven't watched that yet.
You don't think the match happened?
The match hasn't happened yet. I just don't. He's not going to lose to Hinare. I mean, he could lose to Hinare. He could lose to Tama Tonga. He's not going to lose to Goto or Fletcher. Shingo just makes the most sense in that side. On the other side, it's like, I don't know. I guess he's losing to Finlay or Shooter or Zack Sabre Jr.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm just going to say Osprey. Why not?
New Japan Cup complete. Bada boom.
I have Osprey winning, which I'm pretty sure I did last year. And and you have your winner being Shooter. So there we go. Those are our bracket picks. What's that?
We just talked for 2 hours and we're not even done.
No, we're not done. We've only gone for an hour and 48 recording. So there we go, baby. Yeah, we got some more time. And that time, we're going to talk about Ring of Honor. Let's talk about Ring of Honor. This is more of like a general. We're not going to go match by match, obviously, but I think it's more of like a general discussion about what we thought about episode 1 of Ring of Honor on Honor Club. Going real old school.
Honor Club TV.
Yeah, real old school of the Ring of Honor on HD Net days with that title. So Ring of Honor obviously happened. What did you think about this? The episode 1. How are you feeling? How do you like the look? How do you like the matches? Just give me your overall thoughts. How are we feeling about this new era of Ring of Honor?
I'm excited. First and foremost, I'm excited about the new Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. That being said, we're gonna need to figure out how we do these TV shows.
What do you mean?
I don't need 5 AEW Dark matches to fill up a card. I don't. If the card had been, hear me out here, Mark Briscoe and Slim J Matt Taven and Mike Bennett versus Carly Bravo and Sean Dean, Zack Sabre Jr. and Blake Christian, Kanosuke and Josh Woods, Will Nightingale and Lady Frost, and the world title match. I think that would have been a perfect episode, a perfect debut episode. But you also have to add in Christopher Daniels and Rohit Raju, and Joe Keys, LSG, and Rex Lawless versus the Embassy, and Ari Davari versus Metalik, and Madison Rain Sky Blue versus the Renegades. And I love the Renegades, but that part of it was a dark episode, if I've ever seen one. So, and I also think that this show will change dramatically, truthfully, after Supercard of Honor. They're trying to fit in a lot on one show right now, so that's okay. I get it. So I'm not really worried about it right now. I just think less of that dark factor. You're gonna have a squash match, obviously. That's part of wrestling is having squash matches.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to see competitive matches. You want to see that. In terms of setup, take me some time to get used to the Universal Studios aspect of it. I think it looks good. I think it feels like Ring of Honor, despite the smaller venue. Riccaboni and Caprice, not it's like they never missed a day. They're fantastic. I think some more segments isn't a bad idea. You know, I think they did good at mixing in the talking segments, especially with, of course, the way they ended the show with Eddie. But I think more's or longer ones aren't a bad idea to kind of fill out the show. I don't need the show to be 2 hours. I never said I needed the show to be 2 hours. And again, I think that will change after Supercard of Honor because they're just trying to get that card ready. I know what the Supercard of Honor card is, and it looks great. So I'm very excited about that. It's just like I want them to I want Tony to figure it out as time goes on. I know you're trying to set a roster here, you're trying to establish some things, but just keep bringing competitive matches. I don't like that is what Ring of Honor is all about. Keep bringing competitive matches, keep bringing these new guys in, new girls like Lady Frost, hell of a debut. Thought she looked great. I thought Carly Bravo and Sean Dean were awesome. I never watched them on Dark, so I never got to see them. I thought they were great. I think having the random New Japan talents come into awesome.
Yep.
Right? Like Zach and Blake Christian, you know, they tore down the house. And having Takeshita on the show, never a bad thing.
Yeah, that was a great match. That was match of the night right there. Takeshita and Josh Woods.
That was Josh's Woods' greatest match ever, and it's not close.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a unbelievable match. It was match of the night.
I've never seen them have better chemistry of someone than Takeshita.
Yeah, usually he just has bad chemistry. So
yeah. He just nailed it. It just worked so perfectly with Josh Woods there.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the Ring of Honor was good. I liked it. I liked a lot of the things. The thing about Ring of Honor right now is that it doesn't quite feel special yet, or like have a full-on identity yet. The thing we've constantly talked about is we need to separate the roster, and I have great news for you, Scotty. They haven't yet. The Ring of Honor roster page has not been updated. I check every day. It hasn't been updated. So there's no clear definition about brand and who is who and what is what. I mean, you know, we had the show and now Claudio's going to be on AEW and Wheeler Yuta's going to be on AEW for the pay-per-view. So it's not clear. It's not defined. I feel like, and I think this is the tough truth we need to have, like tough conversation. I feel like that if it hasn't been defined at this point, it's not going to be.
Yeah.
I think that's the tough truth is it is not going to be a defined roster at this point. You would have defined it at this point. You're still mixing them up. I mean, they're just the champions, I guess, but you're still mixing them up. And maybe that's what you do. You have your champions on AEW, but then that makes it feel like Ring of Honor second rate, which I guess, you know, that's sort of what they're doing as well with the tapings and everything and not lack of television. I also feel like so they need to split the rosters. They need to do something. They need to have a defined roster because they need to have a full-on identity. They don't feel like a Ring of Honor or a special thing to watch AEW episode 1 felt special to watch. Ring of Honor right now just is like, this is dark on steroids, right? This is
Yeah.
this is heavy duty dark. This is below Rampage, maybe above Rampage, but below Rampage in my opinion. Um, it just needs to figure itself out. I've been hearing great things about episode 2. I've been hearing that that slaps incredibly hard. So I'm excited to see about that. And I do recall AEW's episode 2 being like way better than episode 1. So I feel like that is a similar pattern they're
I was at
going for.
episode 2.
You were at episode 2? Yeah. Yeah. Uh I heard
Fun
that
fact.
I heard that was fantastic. Or I recall that being fantastic, I should say. Um so yeah, I think Ring of Honor just has to figure itself out yet, and I don't think it has. And I don't know what it's going to take to do that beyond just like defining the rosters. I don't know what else you're going to do here.
I think not having to build a pay-per-view in 4 weeks would be a good start.
That's true. Give it some time to figure itself out.
Marinate. Because I think what Tony's trying to do is establish a lot at once
Yes.
for that pay-per-view,
Hmm.
while also trying to say, "Oh, these people are gonna be part of the roster." Um, it's funny because like, this part of the tapings was the tapings I was least excited for from all the stuff that's come out. So, that's why I think I'm really excited because I know what's to come.
Yes.
I don't mean to spoil, but, like, you have Aussie Open obviously coming up with Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams, which is very exciting.
Yep.
You have,
Wheeler Yuta versus
Athena will
Thatcher.
Yep, you have Athena versus, Willow.
Hmm.
You have really exciting matches coming up, and you have the types of prospects I think you wanted to see on the show, like a Billy Starks, for example, and people like that, that kinda makes sense. So, it seems like and I think their problem is they were trying out a lot of people on AEW Dark, so everyone feels like they're dark wrestler like
Yeah.
AEW Dark wrestlers.
Agreed.
Now you gotta keep them off of those dark shows, in
Yes.
my opinion, if you want them to be rostered. Because I think Carly Bravo and Sean Dean, those are great adds to this roster. I really liked what they showed.
I agree.
Um, like, they had a lot of good things, it's just a matter of, like you said, making an identity. Like, I think the Renegades should be part of Ring of Honor. I think Lady Frost should absolutely be part of Ring of Honor. She's never been really part of anything, so she actually felt like a new addition.
Yeah.
Um, it's little things like that, and I'm sure they're gonna figure it out as time goes on. My biggest pitch was, like, if you want AEW stars on there, you do it in bunches. I think I said that last week, like,
Yeah.
you gotta swap them out. You don't want to have, "Oh, we're gonna have Claudio for good, and then we're also gonna bring in, John Moxley one time off," and if have them in a rotation to make them feel like they're part of the roster for a while,
Mhm.
and then they can go back to AEW television
And not
when
just
they're done.
that, but when you do that constant rotation of AEW
Yeah,
wrestlers, you can have more exciting matchups
yeah.
and the sort of like dream, quote unquote dream matches. Oh, we've never seen him versus this guy.
Well,
And
yeah. Well, for example, that's what they're doing with Eddie Kingston.
yeah.
It's exactly what they're doing. They're literally cycling him out of the AEW world by him quitting, and he's joining Ring of Honor, and
Yes.
it's a story that's actually working.
Yes.
So, I'm not saying everyone has to quit, obviously, but it's something like that. Or, say a wrestler's like, "I need to challenge myself. I'm gonna go to Ring of Honor, and I'm gonna get myself back on track." And, some people may think that sounds second rate for Ring of Honor, but listen, this is going to be a development brand
Yes.
for AEW at the end of the day. And I think that's an okay spot for it because there's a lot of good talent able to take part, and it gives them real reps rather than AEW dark squash matches.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think I don't know. This should sort of turn into their feeder system. This is already feeling like
Absolutely.
their NXT.
That's what it
Do
should be.
do we do we still need Dark in Dark Elevation? I'll ask that
No,
question. Do we need it?
no, but I guess I don't think we need both.
It's more content.
Like, personally, I don't think you need to tape dark anymore.
Yeah,
You can do elevation because that's for the live crowd
sure.
there, but you don't need to do dark anymore now that you're doing these Honor Club tapings because then you're just gassing out as I read, you're kind of gassing out the second tapings because you did a dark recording before it.
Mhm.
There's no need for AW Dark.
Yeah. I think the purpose of it is not, I mean, the purpose at a certain point just became like extra reps and trying
Right.
out local talent.
Like, yeah, that's what Elevation's good for
Yeah.
because that's in person. Because you get Jack Cartwheel, for example,
Yeah.
at a show, and you get Titus Alexander, for example, at
Yeah.
shows. It's like those are good. AW Dark is useless.
Yeah. It's not necessary. I believe
If you want to put
beyond
a,
like
if you want
making content.
if you want to do Kenny Omega versus Hagane Shino, you can put that on Rampage or Dark Elevation. You don't need to put that on
Yeah.
people. People that pay to go to your shows, like your premium shows. If you give them a Kenny Omega match before the real show, they're going to be very happy.
Yes.
Like, there's no reason for Dark anymore.
I agree.
I think that will help everything if you just scrap AEW Dark. You can scrap Elevation and just change the other one back to Dark. I don't really care what the name of it is.
Sure. Or just drop the whole dark brand, just call it Elevation.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think Elevation's better.
but you're right. I think it's like once if we drop dark, then Ring of Honor will feel more prestigious in a weird way. Like it's
Yeah, well,
because the a lot of the stars that are coming from dark are
because you
going
don't
to
want to
Ring
see
of
the
Honor.
same building either.
That's also true. It's going to feel the same,
Yeah,
and it's not going to quite work.
and you want Ring of Honor to feel a little bit more major league than that.
All right. Well, we're at the 2 hour mark, Scotty, and we had 3 more topics to get to. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? What are we doing? Are we gonna keep foraging on? Are we gonna do a little Patreon bonus gimmick thing? Are we? Are
We
we
don't have to
calling?
talk about them all. I think I'm exhausted.
I
So
know
I think
yours.
you could.
Let's.
I think what you can do is pick what you want to talk about on this show, and that's how we'll wrap this up.
All right. Well, let's just because I liked it more. I'll just say this real quickly. We're not going to talk about Stardom because I didn't watch it. Scotty watched it this morning. I'm sure there'll be plenty of Scotty's thoughts on Stardom coming out on all of his
Yeah,
podcasts coming down the
you
line.
can go find me on those.
All Star Junior Festival I thought was really good, but I thought Fantasticamania was great. So I would love to
I
talk
have a
about Fantasticamania.
Yeah. Let me just say one thing about All Star Junior Festival. Kind of lame.
Kind of lame, really.
Didn't do much for me.
Really? What about
I
it? What about it?
I think it was the fact that you had a lot of cool wrestlers, but you also had a lot of kind of scrubs.
Yeah.
Um, that kind of ruined matches, like Hayata ruined a really cool match.
Yeah.
He didn't really ruin it because he wasn't in there a lot. Like it- my other problem with the New Japan won every match.
Well,
Um,
that was expected.
it's just stupid. Get out. Um,
I think he was
I like
very
the idea of a US one that they have. I
yeah,
think that's exciting. Because you could bring CMLL in for those.
true.
Um,
True.
it's a good idea. I just want it to be executed better. It's kind of like New Japan versus Noah. It's
Mhm.
kind of what I expect. Is that all right? We got the first one down. Next time it'll be better.
Sure. I feel like it. I sort of agree. I liked it. I thought there were a lot of matches that were good. There were some matches I thought were really really good. There was it was a fun idea.
Yeah,
It's like all right, this was a fun thing to watch, and that's it. I'm going to forget about this show. I think that's the
right.
ultimate thing. We talk about special. We talked about that sort of idea with Ring of Honor. All Star was good, but it's not special. It was a cool idea. There are special moments. I love
Yeah,
Shima coming out and the commentary team going crazy over it. There were moments in there that I really liked. It just didn't. The whole thing was like, all right, this was nice. This was a nice little
yeah,
treat, and then move on with my life.
right. Like there's the cool moments of like Hiromu and Yamato are in the same match, and you barely see them do anything.
Yep,
It's
yep.
like okay,
And they're staring
cool.
each other down afterwards.
Yeah, that was like one of the biggest parts of the match, and I saw them do nothing. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks. But yeah, thank God I got to see Master Wato and Atsuki Aoyagi main event. And I think that's cool that they gave them a singles main event because
sure.
Atsuki is like, really, really good. And Master Wato's getting there. We've talked about that.
Yeah,
But it's like that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that to be Hiromu versus Yamato. I know there's politics involved. Guess what? Go to a draw. I don't give a shit.
Mhm.
Just do the match
Yeah. Yeah, I
instead
agree.
of teasing these things. Hiromu and Fujita Hayato teased the match. Instead, they teamed together. I was like, what? Why? I wanted to see you guys beat the crap out of each other. I didn't get that either.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like it's things like that. Like the pre-show match, I had almost just as much enjoy the pre-show match that wasn't announced. I had almost as much enjoyment watching that match than I did any other one because they all just went out there and did the damn thing because there was no big names in it.
Yeah. Was the pre-show match the one where they had the Monkey Man and the Zombie Man?
No,
What am I thinking?
it had Yo in it.
Oh yeah, I know. I think that is right. I think that's right. What's
Are you calling Abe a monkey man?
No, I think I'm making. Oh, I'm thinking of the show match, not the Yo match. The show match. The show
Oh no,
match
I
had
didn't watch the show match.
the
I didn't
show
watch
match
the show.
had a Monkey Man and a Zombie Man.
No, I'm talking about Yo.
Yeah,
Yo.
yeah, yeah. That was. I was like, oh, this is good. Good work. I give it a
I got to
three.
see Soma
Gentlemen.
Watanabe fly.
Yeah,
Got to see Fuminori Abe be awesome.
yeah. I
So
slapped the gentleman's three. I was like, that's good.
yeah,
Moving
well, I
on.
mean, that's the thing. It was a pre-show, so like, I think there was some people like Abe's really good.
Yeah,
Wish she was actually on the actual show, but whatever. It's a fun idea, but I don't. It
it
needs
needs work.
adjustments.
I
Yeah,
think it needs work. And let's talk about something that was perfect. I thought Top Down was great. Fantasticamania. I thought this tour was so good.
it
CMLL,
was long.
CMLL have been killing it. They came over to Japan and they killed it even more. I thought this entire tour was fantastic. Even before they got to Osaka, even before they got to Tokyo and the Kurikan Hall shows, they had some solid matches on there. But once they got into that new gear of the Kurikan Hall shows and not the Osaka shows, the Chiba shows. Once they got into that gear of like Chiba and the Kurikan Hall shows, whoo baby, ooh baby, Fantasticamania was so good. Boy, howdy, was this tour fantastic. Scotty, it was so good, so good.
Mystico is the biggest star I think in wrestling. If you watch only this tour and nothing else ever in wrestling, you would think Mystico is the biggest star in wrestling, and there's no one that's ever been bigger.
I don't know. You
Um,
could say a similar thing of like Ultimo Guerrero. My man's getting like the
he
crowd
was a
reactions
big
at the
deal, but
wazoo.
it helped the Mystico main evented all the time too. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like
Mm-hmm.
there was something about how like he just kept the crowd in it, and he felt like the biggest babyface I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Soberano Jr., I mean, what a run. I think he was
Fantastic.
the biggest standout for most people. Uh,
Fantastic.
Him, Henchicero,
I was
I
going to
thought he
bring him
was
up.
awesome.
I thought he was
Henchicero was amazing.
he ruled. I never seen this guy before. Just
Neither.
watched this. I was just like, oh, okay, there's another guy. And he was great. His heel
Ultimate
work was great. Just
Yeah.
everything I saw in there, every time then I got like more excited. I was like down the tour, I was like making sure I watch his tag matches
Yeah.
because I wanted to see more of him because he was so
I
good.
loved, Ultimo Guerrero versus Capitan Suicida, which I wasn't gonna watch, and someone told me I had to watch it, and I was like, "Alright." And then I watched it, I was like, "What the hell was that?"
I was not gonna watch it, had no plans. It was not on my list at all. I wrote down what matches I wanted to watch, and I was like, oh, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then I saw you tweet about how great it was, and I was like, well, I gotta watch that. Watched it, slapped a four on it. Just
I was like, "What?"
boom.
I was like, "What the hell? Where'd this come from?" I was like, Ultimo Guerrero's out here having this freaking banger of a match with, like, this brand new guy that just, like, started to go on tours for them.
Yeah.
Um, Soberano Jr. was the guy of the tour.
He was fantastic. I love that one show where he came out like a flight attendant or it came out like a pilot.
Yeah,
I
that's your
was so
favorite photo ever.
confused why he was dressed like that, and I was like, I don't care. This guy's fantastic. I think he was the biggest standout. Mystico was great. Atlantis Jr. I think was good. He wasn't as great as I wanted him to be. Um, Hechiro was fantastic. Ultimo Guerrero I really liked. That one match with Captain Suicida was fantastic. Uh, Volador Jr. and Templario, I think they had a great singles match. a really great singles match between the two of them on night 5. Um, I thought, yeah, but overall, I think they had like very solid performances this entire time. It's not just that it was like, oh, one guy had a great show or there's one good match. It was like multiple people were having multiple really good to great matches multiple nights. It
Yeah.
is it was not just, oh, this is a one match show. It's like, oh no, watch everything. Watch at least half of these shows, because especially that latter half of the tour, when it really kicked off and they started that tournament, which I thought the tournament was really good. It was just everything about it. I love the. I think it was the. I don't remember if it was the final. I think it was not the final. I think it was the first round match of Ultimate Guerrero and Atlantis Jr., where it's like they're not getting along and then they figure it out. I just like I love those little instances, interactions between the two of them. Just I really like this match. The which one was the 6-man? It was one of the 6-mans of El Desperado
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah, with Doki.
Doki, yeah, my
The one that I love was Mystico, Soberano Jr., El Desperado versus Templario, Doki, and Hechicero.
yes, that one was
That,
so good.
that one was stellar. I was like, what? Where'd this come from? This is gonna be this was the one little upsetting thing I have from this tour.
All right, yeah,
I wanted Atlantis Jr. to shine more.
me too, me
I was a
too.
little upset with his performance.
Me
Not
too.
that he was bad,
Nope.
just a little lost because everyone else, there were certain other people that were just going a little better. And he had the signature match of the tournament. He had the last main event
Yeah.
against Mystico.
And it wasn't a wet
It was
fart or anything, but it
no,
was
it was
it
a
was
good
slight
match.
it was
Yeah,
it was slightly a letdown.
it wasn't Teton versus Soberano Jr.
Yeah.
It wasn't Ultimo Guerrero versus Capitan Suicida.
Yes.
Like that's
Yes.
the thing.
Yeah. It just was it had tough expectations at a certain point, because it just
Yeah.
became, oh, let us have a great tour and then cap it off with a singles match. And I was like, oh, the single match has been great. This tour has been great all week. And then it was just like, oh, it was still, I gave it like, I think 3.5 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I gave it like 3.5. So it was like, it
It's
wasn't a
just
bad
it's just
match.
like I wanted that to be greater because
Yes.
I know what Mystico did the whole tour
Yep.
and I know what Atlantis Jr. is capable of.
Yep. Ooh, come on. Let's just get there. Let's just put a little gas
Like,
on it. And I get it. Last match of the tour, maybe they were tired. I'm not going to fully
yeah, they had a
blame
long
it.
tour. It was a long tour.
Yeah, it was a very long tour.
Hell of a time though.
Great tour.
It was exactly what I wanted.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, imagine if CMLL was this easy to watch.
Well, I
I'd
mean,
have a
they're
great
fairly easy. They have shows every Tuesday.
They're easy. It's just their shows they air like
Yeah.
on such a bad delay that I lose track.
It's they have shows every Tuesday, and then they have like the pay-per-view s shows every Friday. But if you
Yeah.
don't watch those live, you cannot get to it until like a month later. Or you just go to Lucha Blog's Google Drive and hope he hope he has it.
He rarely does.
Yeah, he typically doesn't have it until months later.
But thankfully you can watch them eventually. And this year I am making sure to track them all.
Yep.
And I will go back. Yesterday, Soberano Jr. and El Barbaro Cavanario had a lightning match. I was like, I'm not missing that when that comes out.
Nope. I'm checking that out. There's I think there was a main event match that had
Yeah, more
6-man
Rocky
tag
stuff,
or
right?
something of Rocky on one side and Volador on the other side, which that rivalry's been great. They're like, great,
Valdor
I'll check
Jr.
that out.
also slightly quiet tour.
What's that?
Valdor Jr. had a quiet tour too.
Yeah,
mostly.
still very
But I
good.
expected him to have a quiet tour because Rocky wasn't there. I was like, well, he already has something going on.
Yes. I don't understand why they didn't do that. I think they easily could have done that, but
You would have thought so.
it would make sense. It would
I
make
was a
sense.
little shocked they didn't do a title match between those two there.
I wonder if it got changed. I wonder if they were going to do it on this tour, and then because
maybe
of
Rocky couldn't make it.
how praised the match got,
true.
and they were just like, oh,
CMLL was probably like,
let's just make more
keep
money.
that one.
Let's just make more money off of this.
Yeah, keep that one.
Why
Yeah,
not?
it's exciting though.
Maybe that was the idea.
CMLL absolutely putting AAA in the dirt.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I'm always looking at the CMLL shows, seeing what matches are on there, just trying to.
Does Triple H? Does AAA even run anymore?
Yeah, of course they run. Probably.
I know, but I can't tell you the last time I saw a AAA show.
They probably Fantastica, not Fantasticamania, Triple Mania, probably. They
Whatever.
have, I think they announced, yes. So they're doing, so they are doing their, of course, their AAA versus NWA, The World is a Vampire show today. I know you're excited about that.
Of course they are.
But they are doing 3 Triple Manias again this year.
Triple
In
Mania.
April,
That's
in
stupid.
June, and in August. I think they announced some match. Oh yes, that's what it is. So they announced 2 matches so far for the Triple Mania in April 16th. We got Blue Demon Jr. and DMT Azul versus Question Marks and Roosh. All right, you got an old guy on one end, and then you got Roosh on the other. So, all right, okay, that's fine. And then you also have Psycho Clown and Sam Adonis versus, get this, Pentagon Jr. and El Patron Alberto. Dum bum
Fuck AAA. Fuck AAA. Not watching AAA. They don't have the one guy I want to see anymore, so they sent him to the States and he hasn't went back yet. So
yeah,
I'm watching a GCW show because of him tomorrow.
I'm going to a
Today.
GCW show because of
Yeah.
him. They announced him for Atlanta, and I was like, well, when am I gonna see Vikingo? Gotta go see this guy.
Yeah, you probably will never see him again. So
yeah, I was like, when am I gonna see this guy in person? I gotta go out of my way to check this guy out.
he had a sick match in like Dreamwave a few weeks ago. I don't even know what Dreamwave is.
I've never heard of it. I saw that match graphic. I was like, oh, let me do it. And I've been hearing great things about it. I need to go check it out. But yeah,
it was Lucha in like a dorm.
wow.
It was such a building, but it was great.
I cannot wait
because Vikingo doesn't give a shit. It's like, oh, there's people here. That's enough.
I gotta check that out. I gotta check that match out.
Is that our show this week?
That is our show this week. That is our show. Thank you everybody for joining us for Ring Post Radio again. We greatly think about it, especially everybody that was listening live. I know it was earlier than usual. I appreciate you, Scotty. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to do this early. And then we'll watch Revolution, and then again we'll watch Revolution. We'll do the review following Revolution. $1 on Patreon, patreon.com/countupod. And yeah, I thank you again, Scotty, for doing this show this morning, this early, 24 hours. This guy's a hero. This guy's a legend. And we got to respect him for it. And after this, you should totally deserve a nap, Scotty.
Oh, I need something. Oh my God. I'll give you my match of the week, though.
Please do. Give me some plugs.
I'm a professional. I'm not gonna let you down, people.
No.
People plugs. Follow me at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter, as always. If you want to hear my full thoughts about the Stardom show, which was a fantastic show, make sure to follow me because I have many podcasts to do so. Absolutely fantastic from top to bottom. And my match of the week comes from that show. Saya Kamatani versus Hazuki. Good. Fantastic stuff.
That's great to hear. After that last Saya Kamatani title match.
Yeah, Saya was back. Saya had that dog back in her. And it's all because of Hazuki.
I'm excited to check it out.
Mostly because Hazuki is that dog. So
well, yeah. She's been her notches have been turned way up in the past several months.
Yeah, I call her the most consistent worker in Stardom, but when she turns up the notches, it's like really hard to match her.
Yeah.
She needs more important matches.
Yeah, I'm super excited to watch that show. Especially I think there's a lot of good matches. Was there a lot of great matches? Just quick review. Was the show good? Was it bad? Was it a lot of great stuff?
Oh, it was excellent. It was probably their best show since the 5-star finals.
Okay. All right. That's a little too long, but I'll take it.
Well, yeah, probably. Well, I thought Dream Queendom was good, but I think it was better than it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's not really a shot. It's just like.
Yeah, I mean too long in the sense of like, it's sort of disappointing that they haven't had that big of that great of a show since then.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's good.
It was that good though.
You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Knights. You can follow Scotty at Scott E Wrestling. You can follow the whole show at Count Out Pod. That's where we have all of our other shows on the Count Out Podcasting Network.
Be back for A-Dub.
Like Stardom Road, like Your Dose of Death, like
new Stardom Road coming this week.
Yeah, baby. Do you want to talk about what the topic is?
Yeah, part 3 of Arisa Shiki, the final chapter. We talked about our favorite matches and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Thought it was a lot of fun.
I was gonna say that Hoshinki 3-parter has been fantastic. Every episode has been really, really good. So I would definitely go recommend to check that out.
I've been hearing a lot of people say, yeah, I got them all loaded up for a road trip here and this. I was like, oh, so you're waiting. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Some people were waiting for all of it to come out so they could listen to it in a row. And I was like,
sure,
you bitches, I want those views now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing
good.
that's the thing about Stardom Road is that it's evergreen content. So you can listen whenever.
That's the thing. I've been more and more people saying, yeah, I'm going back and won't listen to them all. It's like,
yeah.
That's good. That's the point of the show.
As someone looking at the analytics, that is definitely true. That is definitely true.
It may not pop at the beginning, but the content's there to get watched eventually or listened to. Yes. But yeah, we get some exciting stuff coming up. We'll have Cinderella tournament stuff, and then a special 1 episode wrestler dedication. So if you connect enough dots, you'll probably be able to figure it out. But I'm not going to spoil it. So
I can't wait to the 3-parter episode on Fukigen Death and all of her different forms.
We probably will have that eventually.
I cannot wait.
Every single form.
Again, you can subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/CountOutPod. There's 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. A $1 tier gets you some stuff, but really you can get the AEW Revolution review by us live, and you'll get not just the live version, but to hear it. We're not going to publish it on the feed. That's the only way you're going to hear it. So it's only $1 a month to do that. And if you're already in for $1, why not go up 4 more? Go to the $5 tier, and that's where you get all of our bonus content. That is where you get season 1 of Ryan Hasn't Seen Anything. That's where you get our D&D show for the network, Cantrips and Clotheslines. I did a fun little thing of St. Valentine's Day Massacre review for Valentine's Day, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing for March. I have an idea, but I need to figure that out. And yeah, that's where we have all our bonus content. So definitely go check that out. It's not a lot of money, so we would greatly appreciate it if you pushed some our way. And yeah, my match of the week, it's a chalk one probably, AEW Dynamite. It's that ladder match, baby. I thought that ladder match was great. I thought there was great high spots in there. Commander showed out. I really wish it was Vikingo, as it was reported to almost be. But, I'll take Commander. He was very great in it. Takeshita, that blue thunder bomb off the top of the ladder was fucking insane. And the only thing that ruined the match was the referees. That is the only thing for... that is the only thing we got for this show. For Ring Post Radio, we will see you all next week and see some of you and hope more of you this Sunday night for Revolution Review. Until then, we'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.